Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
But who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
Can you dig it, sucker, sucker?
Can you dig it, suckers? How you doing, fight fans? EJ Boxing Live here with some of the best channels here on YouTube. We're gonna talk that boxing stuff. Tuesday night predictions, man. It's gonna be great, man. Tony Thompson, yeah, it's gonna be Tony Thompson begin fighting. We got loads of fight. Antino Margarito, J-Rock, man. Loads of good fights coming up, man. Lucas Brown, Chagaev. Hey, boy, it's a packed weekend from Friday all the way to Saturday. So, without no further ado, my host, one of the best channels here on YouTube, we've got Scorsese from the Boxing Voice. How you doing, Scorsese?
Man, I'm good. Ready to talk some boxing, bro.
All right, man. We're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get straight into it. So first off, we're gonna go straight into Saturday, March the 5th in Washington D.C. We got Luis Ortiz versus Tony Thompson at the heavyweight division. This heavyweight division. This is for the interim, should I say, eliminator to fight Tyson Fury. 12 rounds for the WBA. Yeah, I could say interim or eliminator to fight Tyson Fury. Scorsese, who you got, bro?
Hey, I think they changed that. As far as like the WBA said they not sanctioning the fight. That's recent news. It's like within a few hours they done that. So I'm not sure if this is like the tournament that, because I know the one opponent dropped out and he didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz. They couldn't reach a deal. So Tony Thompson brought in late.
Yeah, that was correct.
Yeah, so that's kind of difficult for for us to see the direction the WBA gonna go in after this. But prediction wise, if Luis Ortiz is this monster we really think he is, and I did watch his last fight against Jennings probably a week ago. If he this monster we think he is, he should get this stoppage here. He should get this stoppage. He should be more look like the prime version of Klitschko and get stoppages versus his opponent. Tony Thompson's no bum, but he's taking the fight on short notice once again. He's a workman-like fighter. That's the same kind of fighter that Luis Ortiz just fought in Brian Jennings, a workman-like opponent, but he's bigger than Jennings. But he's still not a guy that's gonna keep the distance and jab, but he's gonna be in there fighting. And Luis Ortiz should be able to catch him with more uppercuts, more good body shots, and change the fight. Thompson's stamina might be better than Ortiz, and that might play a factor down the stretch. But initially, I gotta say Ortiz by knockout. By stoppage? By stoppage.
Yeah. What round you got? Any round in particular round?
I'm gonna say 7, 8ish. I'm gonna say let's go 8. 8 round stop. 8 round TKO for Luis Ortiz.
Okay, cool, man. Let me break down some stats before I give my prediction. So Tony Thompson, he's 44 years of age. He's had 40 wins with 27 knockouts. He's got 6 losses. 2 of the losses have been by knockout. He's got notable losses against Malik Scott. I think that was a close fight. It was close in that. It was unanimous decision for Malik Scott. He beat Orlando Solis. That was a good win. He beat him actually twice. He lost to Carlos Takam by unanimous decision. He lost to Kubit Priyo. That was a good fight. But listen, he knocked that to David Price twice in England, and we watched that, and that was surprising. No one actually gave him a chance of winning that fight. And obviously, the Vladimir Klitschko fights, where I think he got stopped in both of them fights, and that's both the stoppages on his 6 losses. The two losses on his 6 losses. And so we go to Luis Ortiz record. Luis Ortiz is 36 years old, so he's considerably younger. He's got 24 wins with 21 knockouts, no losses, no draws. Boy, so he's definitely going to be the favorite coming into this fight. And he's coming off a good stoppage over Brian Jennings, which is a good notable win for him. Also, he's got 2 no contests, which is they haven't showed up on his box rec. Against one against Latif Coyote. and over some drugs thing. But since then, he's gone on. He's got 3 straight in the win. Like I said, with Brian Jemmons, is the biggest name on his resume. And most experts believe that he will go in to stop. He'll go in to stop Tony Thompson. But me personally, boy, I think it's going to be a good fight. Luis Ortiz better mind out about Tony Thompson can hit. He can hit a bit, but he's out of shape and that. He shouldn't go that many rounds. Luis Ortiz, I agree with T. Should be a knockout, probably around 5 or 6. But listen to this. I have Tony Thompson number here. I haven't even before. I'm gonna give him a call. This is just out of chance, by the way, fight fans. So if he picks up, we're lucky. If he doesn't, then you know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna give him a call here on Skype, and hopefully he might pick up. But if he doesn't, then boy, yeah. What's up, RKO Khan? Good man, he gave me the same big up to me. All right, let me keep Tony Thompson up. Probably in training like School's age he's thinking. So we'll find out.
Cisco Unity connection messaging system. From a touch-tone telephone, you may dial.
Oh, okay, so obviously, never mind. Well, I guess he couldn't get through to him. Okay, maybe number change or maybe he's in training, so it never happened. But my prediction is, if we knock out, it would have been good if we could have got have a conversation with him, but it never not to be. All right, so we're gonna move on. Next fight on the undercard of in Washington DC, HBO. By the way, this is a HBO card, by the way, which is good for Tony Thompson to be back on HBO. It might be his last hurrah as well, definitely. We got Jessie Vargas versus Sadam Ali. This is a 12-round fight for the WBO welterweight championship. Scorsese, how do you see it?
Hey, look, it's probably good he didn't pick up. We got 2 people that predicting he's gonna get knocked out trying to talk.
He's cool like that. Yeah. He's cool like that, you know. I'm cool like that.
It's cool. Hey, but I'm rooting for him. You know, if he can pull out the upset, it's nothing.
I mean, look, hey, you know what? By the way, he's from Washington as well, so he's fighting in his hometown.
It's nothing to it. If he can pull out the upset, best of luck to him, man. You know. But for the undercard predictions, Sadam Ali, Jessie Vargas. It's a fight I'm looking forward to that not many fans have acted like they're looking forward to. Like it's a step up fight for Ali, and it's like I think it's his next fight since that Bradley close knockdown he almost scored over Bradley for Jessie Vargas. So it's a line in the sand for Jessie Vargas. Either you're gonna cross that line or you're gonna stay behind, and Sadam Ali's gonna cross that line, because Vargas hasn't actually crossed that line yet. People thought he's gonna be a star. Hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. From being around Mayweather, it still hasn't happened. Nothing developed for him, and he's still a guy that you can't put your finger on. You know, he can get outworked in the fight. He can start fast. He can look long in the ring, but something just don't translate. But I'm the same way with Sadam Ali. I see a guy that every time I see him fight, I see Keith Thurman versus Leonard Bundle, and he's Keith Thurman in that fight. He's always circling the ring, never standing his ground. He never giving no work in the pocket. And there's 2 guys I'm just not confident to pick on. But if I wanted to see one advance, and I'm gonna pick off me wanting to see Sadam Ali advance more than Jessie Vargas, because I think he brings more dynamics to the welterweight division. As Jessie Vargas, I don't think he does as much. He probably better suited at 140, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping Sadam Ali gets a stoppage in this fight. Like, we didn't think he was gonna stop Bregu, but he did. So I'm hoping he gets the stoppage and say, hey, I did something Tim Bradley couldn't do at the welterweight division. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with knockout. He gonna knock him out and let's go 8 again. Knockout in 8.
All right, man. Well, there you go. Let's go Scorsese pick. So I'm gonna get through some stats and then give you guys some more detail. So Sadam Ali, he's got 22 wins with 13 knockouts, 13 KOs. He's 5'9". He's from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, young, hungry guy, man. Yeah, he's 27 years of age. And to be honest with you, this is his biggest step up. I haven't got Jeremy Bryan, who beat Isaac Dinger. He beat him on split decision. But other than that, there's no real names in him. And this is his first big step up. This is the thing with fight with him. Either he could get over the hump or he can't. Now on the other side, we have Jessie Vargas with 26 wins with 9 knockouts. So he doesn't really hit that hard. But he's 26 years of age, so he's younger than Sadam Ali. But he's fought names. He's got Antonio Marco on his record, and also he's been a WBA 140 champion. He's got He's got that guy. Is it Cowie? The one. Who's the one Broner beat? What's his name? I can't pronounce that guy's name.
Antonio DeMarco.
No, not Marco Antonio, but the one. Broner won to beat the belt. Broner beat the guy to beat the belt. The guy at 140 for the. Khabib, whatever.
Khabib.
Huh?
Khabib, shit.
That's it. There you go. There you go. Scorsese.
I've heard it. Something like that. I've heard it.
Yeah, but listen to this, like Jesse Vargas is proven though.
I like it.
Yeah, I love Bourbon. Khabib, I love Bourbon. Yeah, he's got Wally Omatuso was a really good one. I actually thought Omatuso won that fight, but he's fought some names. Wally Omatuso was a very hard fight. He got unanimous against him. Khabib Alaverbi, he's got him by unanimous decision. He's got Antonio Marco. These are all Khabib's a former champion. Wally Omatuso is always a fringe. He's always trying it. And Antonio DeMarco was a former world champion. And Tim Bradley. To me, it was a one-sided fight. To me, even though Jesse Vargas protested, I felt the fight wasn't that close. Apart from he stunned him in the last round, not in the last round. Other than that, there wasn't enough happening. But he's been against much higher of a competition. And I'll be honest with you, Sadam Ali hasn't really got no names on his resume. Everyone's expecting Sadam Ali to win, harder, but he hasn't stepped up. This is his step up. I'm gonna go with Jesse Vargas. Actually, I'm gonna go with Jesse Vargas. To win by unanimous decision and claim the WBA vacant belt. So me and Scorsese have picked both of them, but you've picked Sadam by knockout. I'm got Jesse Vargas by unanimous decision.
I think that's the smart pick. Honestly, that's the smart pick. I just kind of feel like Sadam Ali will bring more to that division because this is for the WBO title, like the real deal WBO title. And I don't think Jesse Vargas will bring anything to that title. He would basically get Jesse Vargas might bring Manny Pacquiao out of retirement just to pick up another strap, because it would be like some people feel Wilder is food at heavyweight or Billy Joe is food at middleweight. That's how people will probably look at Jesse Vargas. You'll see some Heyman fighters trying to do business with Top Rank. But I think Sadam Ali brings a different dimension where people say, he get in there and box a little bit. But I don't think as much with Jesse Vargas.
Yeah, well, that's our predictions. We'll see if it works out. In the chat, by the way, you guys, if you're in the chat listening to this, yeah, you can put your picks. We got Roscoe 222. He's got Sadam Ali, has skills, yeah. Both Sadam Ali and Spence are starting to step up in competition. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Sadam definitely needs to step up in the competition. This is a good test and for the vacant WBA belt. But you guys in the chat, leave your predictions of who you feel will win, man. Just leave your guys. As we're going the list out, just say who you think will win and why. All right, so we're going back into my prediction. No, sorry, not my prediction. We're going back to the next fight. So the next fight is J. Rock Williams. That's Julian Williams versus Marcello Matohu. I think he's let me see where this guy's from. He's from France, isn't it? Yeah, he's from France, bro. Okay, so that Marcel Matu, whatever his name, Matudo, he's he's got one loss on his record against some guy I don't even know. But other than that, his record is 16 wins with 5 knockouts. And so I ain't got no notable name. So he's from France actually. And J. Rock Williams has got 21 wins with 13 knockouts. He's 5'11". He's 25 years old. How old is that Marcel guy? How old is he? He's 29 years old. And he's 5'8". So they're kind of like around the same height, whatever. And to be honest with you, J. Rock, notable win to me was Joey Hernandez. That was a very good win. And most of these wins have been by knockout, by the way. He's got 1 no contest actually, and he's got 1 draw. Other than that, I think I favor J. Williams, man. J. Rock Williams to win this fight. Yeah, that's the way I see it. How do you see it, Scorsese?
Yeah, you mentioned the Hernandez win, and he went in there. I think it was a 10-rounder. He went 10 every round with him, and then Trout took the Hernandez fight. That's who J. Rock.
Oh, sorry, Joe Hernandez went unanimous decision. You're right. It was a unanimous decision.
Yeah, that was like one of the only ones as of late that he went the rounds, and then Trout went in there, and he just broke Hernandez down, made him quit basically. And Trout told him that's how you stop a guy. That's how you do it. And I think J. Rock is an up and coming guy that I want him to do well, but it's like I I've heard some interviews, and I just don't. Sometimes I don't like the way he speaks. He says he the mandatory, like he's not gonna negotiate, like he won't go anywhere to win his title. He said he won't go to Texas to fight a Charlo if he's the mandatory, and those are the type of things you don't really want to hear. He's saying he didn't want to fight Vanis Monterosian based on some pricing out or some, not a lot of details there, but okay, if you don't do that, find somebody else, I guess. But this opponent he bringing up, I know nothing about. I don't, if anybody does, I'm pretty sure they like the dude's cousin or something. So more than likely he either gets a stoppage or a decision. He's gonna win the fight unless he just becomes a victim to a huge upset. But he's a prospect and people want him to do well. I think he's gonna let some people down. Even if he does do well, he's not. I don't know, man. I don't like the attitude sometimes.
Yeah, man, I will agree with you, man.
Good fighter though, damn good fighter. Don't get me wrong, very fast hands, a strong ass jab, good footwork. From Philly, they tough. I really believe in him. It's just that he says some things, and as a boxing fan, they kind of like, oh, you're not gonna give me, give the fans what they want. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That's it. Like, cause let me say why, cause I don't want people to feel like I'm being like being just hard on them for no reason. I feel like Heyman has made some of these guys entitled because he pays them more than their worth. Because he was trying to, build his brand, his Heyman brand, saying we make money, we pay good money, and these guys have become entitled due to him overpaying them. Like Al Heyman should have the right to take all these guys to court and get his money back, and say, give me my entitlement back too, because it's me, not you. And it's just simple as that. So that's why some of them, when they talk like they the big man, I'll be like, man, just go fight and let your skills do it, and then we can all be good. But Heyman made them privileges. It's not Heyman's fault. He was just trying to do what's good for boxing. But that's why I don't like certain things he says.
Cool, man. So that's 12 rounds in the junior middleweight division. So see if J-Rock will come through. The fight basically going to be in Bethlehem. It's going to be in Philadelphia anyway. So Showtime. And on the undercard of that main event, we have Tony Harrison versus Fernando Guerrero. Now, this is a 10 rounds in the middleweight division. And to be honest with you, I remember Tony Harrison in his last fight against, what's his name again? Against Willie Nelson. That was a wicked fight, bro. That was a good fight. And you know what? He was undefeated before that fight. But since then, he's won another fight. So he beats a guy called Cecil. Anyway, this other guy, he's beat a fight since then with a nice decision. But it was a big learning curve to lose against Willie Nelson. That was an up and down fight. But I think in this Fernando Guerrero fight, this is going to be a war. Tony Harrison's record is 22 wins with 18 KOs. Obviously, one loss to Willie Nelson, and now that little loss, he got the KO. Fernando Guerrero record is 28 wins with 20 knockouts. He got all 3 losses are lost by knockouts. So this is a crossroads kind of fight, even at their young ages. He's 29 years of age. Is Fernando Guerrero. Tony Harrison is 25 years of age. And to be honest with you, Fernando Guerrero's he's got losses. Oh, he got losses against David Lemieux. He got these are KOs, man. He lost against Peter Quillen. He's been KO'd. He got Grady Brewer KO'd him as well. So you've got a kind of favor at the minute, Tony Harrison, but I don't know. In fact, it's quite even in terms of, how these guys are probably every time they've been asked to step up, they've kind of failed. So it's a kind of crossroads fight. I think I'll go slightly with Tony Harrison's a bit fresher for now. I think so because the losses from Fernando Guerrero, 3 losses, 3 knockouts, shows me that maybe a bit punch wear. So I'm gonna go with Tony Harrison by knockout. In the fighting schedule, what's the it doesn't really say what's the fight schedule for?
10 rounder.
Yeah, it's a 10 rounder. So I'm gonna go with Tony Harrison knockout in the 10th round. What's your take, Scorsese?
Tony Harrison, like that dude, man. And you're right, that Willie Nelson fight showed he got a lot of heart to even take that fight because Willie, you might not say Willie's like a great, but he's not gonna quit fighting. He gonna put his punches together. Tall, he taller than everybody at 154. Hell, the dude got heavyweight height, light heavyweight height, if you want to say anything. And Tony Harrison got in the ring with him. He was giving him a schooling. He was landing hard body punches. something just went out, stamina, something, something went wrong, and he took a punch while tired. The man turned around to the ropes. It looked like he said a prayer, and the referee stopped the fight. It looked like it broke his heart, but gave him some experience. For some reason, I like Tony Harrison. I think he's the type of dude that will go out there and fight anybody because he believes in himself. He talk a lot too, but he believe it. Like we said with J-Rock, he didn't fight minor erosion. Tony Harrison made no indications that Willie Nelson couldn't get in the ring with him. Like the fight happened, he lost the fight that he was winning. But you're right, Fernando Guerrero, always fun to watch. I think last time I seen him was on Bounce TV. I'm gonna go with Harrison by decision here. I don't think Fernando's gonna come lay down, and I don't think this fight has been short notice either, because Harrison's always training. He's always on Instagram and Twitter showing his training videos. That's another thing I like. So it's not short notice. I don't think Fernando's coming to lay his head on the ropes and say take the victory. But Harrison gonna show he got a little more class in there. He's gonna win a unanimous decision, and I think it's bigger things to come from there. And it might be a blessing that he took that loss earlier, because it's like, hey, I lost before. What's the worst that could happen? But then that could work against you as well, because you could get comfortable with losing. But something about me says he's not comfortable with losing. I think it's gonna work in his favor.
Absolutely, man. So, well, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But it's definitely a fight that's going to be exciting. And so on the undercard of that fight,
that's Showtime, right? That's Showtime.
That's Showtime. Yeah, that's going to be.
I think they got the maybe the better undercard. What was the first fight we said?
J-Rock Williams versus
J-Rock. And what was the undercard to that one?
No, that was it. That's the main event, and Tony Harrison is the undercard. The one before is the HBO one. That's Luis Ortiz, Tony Thompson, and Jessie Vargas and Sadam Ali.
I think somebody's on before Tony Harrison on that fight. I think
that's it. No, they got Antonio Douglas is fighting some other guy.
Yeah, Antoine Douglas. That's what it was. Antoine Douglas. He a good prospect over here too at middleweight. That's the one.
I can't pronounce the guy's name. The other guy's name, I can't. He's a 10-rounder as well. I don't know too much about Antonio Douglas.
He's just a good prospect. He hasn't taken a step up. This was supposed to be a step up. Who dropped out of the fight? He was supposed to fight the guy, the bad knee, Solomon. He was supposed to fight Sam Solomon, and Solomon.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. See, that would have been Showtime there, Sam Solomon. That would have been a probably better fight, man. Sam Solomon's probably lucky though, because his knees. After the Jermaine Taylor, I'm surprised he's even still fighting, actually. But
I wanted to see it because the guy that Triple G's about to fight fought Solomon, and the dude had no quit. He had the ugliest style ever, like always, and he made him struggle so bad. And I wanted to see if Antoine Douglas was going to just like go in there and take him apart and prove like I'm better than some of these other prospects, because that's what a lot of people think they are. If you remember during what's that fight that Jacobs versus Quillen, they had Wilder and Douglas. They interviewed Wilder and Douglas at the same time, and that was like Showtime trying to bring him past prospect level right there. And they tried to do it with his next fight as well. But like we said, the guy dropped out. So I'm looking to see more of him. Basically, if you watch his highlights, it'll be like watching his whole career, because he's not fought nobody that could stop him. I mean, he's good though.
Yeah, well, definitely. We'll see. We're going to find if you find out. So we're going over there to Russia, and we have Ruslan Chagaev versus Lucas Brown. This should be a very good fight. This is another fight, as like Tony Thompson and Luis Ortiz. It's a tournament to see who's going to be facing Tyson Fury. Lucas Brown's record is, he's from Australia. Should I say he's from New South Wales, sorry. And in Australia, his record is 23 wins with 20 knockouts. He's 36 years of age. That's getting on a bit. And he's got victories over James Toney, Richard Towers, which is pretty good. And these are the most notable names in his record. And this is a big step up. Ruslan Chagaev, so I say. His record is 24 wins with 21 by knockout. He's got 2 losses. One of the losses he's been KO'd, and he's got 1 draw. and he's got Frezes Coendo. He won by majority decision. And who else has he got on his resume? He beat Alexander Povetkin, beat him by unanimous decision, and Vladimir Klitschko has also beat him. I think he beat him by what's it, RT? What's RT? I don't know what that is, me. But he beat him anyway, so he's lost to him as well. So I think he's stoppage actually. I think it's probably technical.
Technical decision.
Yeah, it was technical decision. Yeah, I think that's his only stoppage. So I've been saying that. Who I think I hope Lucas win. He's 37 years of age. I hope Lucas Brown win actually. But it's in Russia. It's shoot Chagaev, but I hope Lucas can stop him and win, because Lucas is, he's been dying for this opportunity to get. So I'm gonna go Lucas Brown by stoppage. Obviously it's 12 round. I'm gonna go Lucas leg stoppage, 9th round stoppage. Go ahead, Scorsese.
I always hear my boy The Wire talking about Lucas Brown. I always mean to go watch this dude, and I never really get around to it. And I did get around to it. I just don't remember him. I don't remember much of him. But The Wire talks about this man like he is the next coming of greatness of the heavyweight division. And I'm hoping he can pull it off. And I know he's like this new name for some people, but he's old as hell. Like both of these guys in mid-30s, but you've heard of Shagaev forever. You know what I mean? Like, so which one really gonna bring the most to the division? I think Lucas can, because he can punch. He's supposedly this huge puncher, and I've seen him really get some good shots in. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure here, but I'm going for, I know they call him the Big Daddy. I want him to win the fight so I can see more fights, and I gotta just watch more. But I'm gonna go for him because I got some people that I respect as far as about YTBC. The Philly's a good fighter, so I want to see him in with the people that they don't like Wilder. Like some people say this guy would, like The Wire, for instance, says he's a bum rush Wilder, and I like to see that since he feels that way.
Oh, that's a bit hard. Well, I don't know, man. Lucas is done what he's finding. He's at the Commonwealth belt for the longest. By the way, I've actually got Lucas's number. I'm gonna try and bring him. He's probably, I don't know if this number will work actually, because it's been a fair time actually. Let me see if I can call him. Let's see what his opinion. Because actually, Lucas he's on my Facebook thing. He's a good guy in that. If he's available, I think he might talk to us. I don't know if you remember me though, because I haven't talked to him for quite a long while. Let me see if he picks up. Hopefully he does. It'd be good to get his take on obviously the fight as well. Let me see if it's ringing. Is it gonna ring? I guess not, man. It's showing it's ring.
I'm gonna pull up some footage of him here so I can see what.
It's not getting through. All right, it's not getting through, so never mind. Hey, man, then we tried. Okay, so I got late stoppage. How do you see the fight?
Well, like I said, I'm hoping he can get the stoppage and progress on in the division. I don't know how much Chagaev has left, but every time it's been an opponent noteworthy, he hasn't got the job done. But it is in, you say Russia, right? That is in Russia, ain't it?
It's in Russia, yeah.
Well, he traveling, so you never know right there, man. I hate to hear a robbery, but I feel like for some reason every time I hear Russia, I'm gonna hit that, or Germany, either one. I just put them together and just link them, But I think he could get it done. No, I think he's gonna win. He could knock the guy out. Hopefully, he is the bigger man in the ring again. He's a big ass dude, man. That's one thing I know about him, and I ain't even seen much of him. He's a big ass dude.
So you got Lucas by stoppage, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lucas stoppage.
When you go around?
Oh, nah, not around. I haven't studied enough to see it, but it was a fight I was gonna go ahead and stream, but I know he got that power beyond belief. He's hitting people and they getting out of that.
Okay, fair enough then. All right, so we're moving on down to where we got. We're moving on down to Mexico City, and we've got the debut, should I say, the return of Antonio Margarito versus Jorge Paez Jr. This is 10th round in the welterweight division. Hey, man, and Antonio Margarito is back, man. A lot of dispute. People probably think he should be fighting again, but he is what he is, and he's fighting against Jorge Paez Jr. I'll let T take on this against Jorge Pius Jr.? Go ahead. Sorry, it was Scorsese.
I'm glad he back too, man. He getting a lot of bullying on that eye picture. Like he's all over Twitter with one eye open and one closed, and it's hard to even remember unless you watch the fight and got a great memory which eye Pacquiao messed up, because they both look afflicted. You know, one is closed and one is like just open, man. It's ignorant. But Margo, I'm glad he back. I'm hoping that, you know, maybe since Cotto is like in the last days, maybe Cotto says, hey, I'll fight Margarito again, and nobody would complain. Maybe Marquez said, hey, we both old as hell. Did you say at the welterweight division? Because I've been wondering, like, what this man gonna fight at?
Yeah, they're fighting at welterweight.
I can't believe this dude is 6 foot plus and can still make 147 pounds. That's nuts.
5'11". He's 5'11". It says on box rep, but that's tall still. It's quite tall.
Well, yeah, he right next to 6 foot. He was in there with Paul Williams. He didn't look no bit of a midget toward Paul Williams. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's amazing for him to be able to make 147 still. I'm kind of looking ahead, hoping he wins his fight, but I don't know what he's gonna look like, man. How is his style supposed to translate? He got hit a lot already. His eyes messed up as is. He throws a lot of punches, stayed out the ring. We don't know the shape he's in. How can he still maintain that style that he was at this age? It's not like he's going to become Floyd Mayweather with the defense, or Rigo, or somebody who can get hit or see punches coming and not get hit by them. And if they do get hit, they take things off the punches because they turn with it. He's not going to become that. But hopefully he can win the fight, and I hope he get in there with one of these older fighters is on the way out like Marquez. I'm hoping that can happen.
So how you see it getting Pius? You got him winning, or what you say?
Yeah, he got.
The last time he fought was in 2011, you know, and that was it was the one he got technical stuff.
Hard to call. I know he in there with an opponent he's supposed to beat, but. Shit, man. You know, you take that much punishment as he do, and you've been out the ring, you might find out that it ain't as easy as you think. So, the Pius Jr., what do I remember him from?
Vivian Harris outpointed him. It's Jorge Pius Jr. You know his father, Jorge Pius Sr., the clown, and you know he fought featherweight.
He was Pius Jr. was recently on PBC, right or wrong?
Let me see. Was it on PBC? No, his last fight was in Mexico, and that wasn't recently in PBC. Look under it. Jose Benavides. Is that the fight you're talking about?
Benavides. No, that was True TV. It was True TV. That's where I remember him from.
Yeah,
that's where I remember him from. Yeah, and
he got KO'd in that fight, right?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't put it together. He was fighting the top ranked fight, the Jose Benavides, after Benavides robbed Herrera. And they actually demoted Benavides to True TV and put Herrera on HBO because it was a robbery. Then Benavides like fucked him up in front of his people and everything. Like his dad was there. You just mentioned his dad. He got embarrassed in front of all of them. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the plan again, Marco. But he's gonna take punishment though, man. His style just screams hit me. You know, it ain't got no way. But he gonna win the fight. I'm just gonna say he's not gonna knock dude out. He's gonna win the fight. If he wins the fight by knockout, it'll be a body shot because I don't think the dude will be in shape or really trying to win the fight. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, look, man. Jorge Pius Jr. against Benavides has been stopped, and you know since then he won them a shot by this majority decision against Daniel, whatever his name is, another guy, and he lost recently, so he's lost a bit. Maybe his confidence not all there, but I think Margarito might be fresh and rejuvenized, and he's probably been training longer. I'm gonna go with Margarito. I think Margarito. I can see Margarito still can hit like he can. He'll wear down Jorge Pius, and I can see him stopping him probably in round 8, maybe. I can see him stopping him round 8. I could probably see that. You know, he's been he still hits hard in the welterweight division. So you're right, you know, after that long from 2011 to be off that long, I can see him stopping in 2011. So that's the thing. That's the fight I see. There's some other fights which are happening over in the UK. We got Sammy Eggington versus Bradley Skeete, which should be interesting. There's 12 rounds in the welterweight division. That should be an interesting fight over here. I don't think you American guys know it, or guys in England know about them. That should be an interesting fight to see how that one. Sam Eggington, he's pretty good. Bradley Skeete, I think Bradley Skeete should probably might win that fight, but I'm not too sure. I won't put my money on it. And another fight I didn't mention, which happened on Friday, we have Yamanaka, what's his name again? Shinsuke Yamanaka versus Liborio Solis. This is for it's a 12 round in the bantamweight division for Yamanaka's WBC bantamweight championship. Should be interesting, but I'll probably pick Yamanaka in that fight. Other things, yeah, that I don't think me and Scorsese mentioned the weekend fights. I don't think me and you, Scorsese, we actually talked about the weekend fights, bro. Crawford versus Lundy. I don't think I've actually got your take on that. Go ahead, bro.
Crawford, too much of a beast, too much of a heat-seeking missile. He's seeking destroy. Like, Lundy looked nice for parts of the round. I heard people call him a front runner. I don't want to go that far, because if he looked that nice at 135, he might have a shot to be, you know, I don't think he'd beat Bartholomew, but he could pick up some belts down there. Crawford just way too much on the front foot for him. You know, way too much of a jab punching in his face, poking a jab in his face. He let Crawford be way too comfortable. He's tried to switch up and match Crawford, and I think it's the same round he switched up, he was on the ground. Crawford is something else, man. I mean, a lot of people picking on him because he's fighting these smaller fighters, and okay, fine. But if he knocks out Postal, I don't want to see Crawford versus Pacquiao. I don't want to see that fight. I want to see him get 2 belts at 140 pounds, because I do rate Postal as a good fighter. I think Postal right now is just as good as win as Pacquiao. Not historically, you know, like when somebody look at the resume, they're not gonna know who Postal is. But for us watching, we recognize the skill in Postal, we recognize skill in Crawford, and that's a fight that I need to see. Like, Tyrant gotta do that. Shouldn't be no ducking, no dodging. Make that happen. Crawford just something else, man. Like, he an animal. But when he go up in weight, he got to start a little faster. Defensively, he has to start a little faster. If you wanna fill the opponent out, you need to do so without taking so many punches, because, you know, as far as you go up in weight, that power change, and, you know, I might get a glove in it. You never know. Even if it's not a knockout, you got to stop taking so many punches.
I can tell you what, he's the most complete fighter, one of the most complete fighters in the game. He's very exciting. Hank Lundy came out in that fight like a volcano. He came after Terence Crawford like no man's ever came after him, and it was surprised to me that I thought Hank Lundy, you know, was really putting it on. When he changed stances, then it was like he just opened up on him and took him out. And you gotta understand, Hank Lundy's never been stopped. He's been stopped before, but that's only the second time he's only been stopped in his career. And that was, to me, I was very impressed by that. But I was impressed by Hank Lundy, where Hank Lundy brought the fight. But man, Crawford has turned it up. I like the way Crawford moves back and makes guys at the end of his punches where he gets leverage. Kind of reminds me of Hearns at the way where he can keep guys at the end where he can get his leverage and throw his punches. And it was a masterful performance. Now, talking about one of our other YouTubers, I'm gonna get your take on this. Shady Slim. Shady Slim has put it out there that he thinks, that Terence Crawford could beat Mayweather, and this is his reasoning why. He said, Shady Slim says the reason why he could beat because Mayweather's old and Crawford is too young and quick, and Mayweather's been cherry picking. What's your take on Mayweather versus Terence Crawford right now if they were to fight?
Let me take it back to the Lundy fight, because we saw Lundy come out and prove that he didn't know how to pace himself. Like, if he knew how to pace himself, ain't no telling what we would have saw, because he had the right distance to lead off on Crawford. He had everything working, but he didn't pace himself. Crawford, I don't know if the experience is that to beat Mayweather right now, because Mayweather settled for one shot. He'll settle for one shot and trust everything else that he can do after that. Hank felt he had to get it done early. It's a difference, man. Like, I don't even want to go there yet. I don't want to go there. I want Crawford to build him. Danny Garcia said something I respected so much. He said they asked him about fighting Mayweather when he was in the process of unifying the 140-pound division, even more than he had already done. He said, "Man, I'm not worried about Mayweather. I want my own legacy for they can say, am I just as good as him? If I ever make it to 147, then it is what it is." You know what I mean? So if they ask him about that, and Crawford come out and say, "Man, I want this 140-pound division sold up because it's a good division, like Broner, all them. If you get up to 147, go at your own pace. Learn at your own pace, and then we might be having a conversation for who's a better fighter. But at this moment, unless Mayweather is all the way slowed down, and we know it's not all the way there, I think he can pot shot his way to victory. Crawford's proven easy to hit too much, and Mayweather's not Lundy and not finding counters and changing it. He's getting under these counters. He's doing what he got to do to win fights. Yeah, I don't care if he do it by one punch. He's doing it. So I don't think Crawford beats him right now.
Okay, cool. And then the other fight we have Leo Santa Cruz versus what's his name again? Kiko Martinez. For me, that was exactly what I thought he was gonna get beat up. Martinez, but a great, brave guy. Actually brave. He actually done well to go to the 5th round, but it went the way I thought it was gonna go. Give us your take on that fight.
Leo Santa Cruz, I know he got a lot of flack for the fight, but he became one of my favorite fighters that night. Like, I haven't liked him very much. I've even said some of his fights are boring, because it is boring when you see a guy in there that has no chance, no size, in there just throwing punches back to the guy that is a star. It is kind of boring. But I respect Kiko Martinez, and I felt like moving up in weight would do good things for him. And 4 rounds, it did look like it did do some good things for him. He looked big in there. He looked like the Tank compared to to the Willow Tree. But he looked like the Tank, and he was landing his good shots. But Leo Santa Cruz, he's shorting his shots up so pretty on the inside, man. He mess around, get the jab in your face off. If you think he can't box, his feet still aren't great, but it's no place in the ring he don't look uncomfortable in, because all he got to do is start punching like he normally do. And did he Doug Rigo all that? I will never argue. He sure did. He sure did. That's one person he can never, but he can still do good things outside of Rigo. I like the dude, man. It's crazy. A good performance, a hell of a performance. Blood on his face. He did take some punches. That was to be expected. He's always going to take punches, but his game plan is to outpunch you. People wanted him to outbox. I seen others channels say, why didn't he just outbox him? Nah, that's not what he's going to do. But his power at 126 may be better than it was at 122. Hopefully Gary Russell next, or Selby, one of those.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right, last news. So you saw the press conference with Adrian Broner a couple days ago. Adrian Broner, Ashley Fairfax. What's your take out of that? And give your overall opinion. Who do you think is going to win the fight?
I didn't see the press. I didn't watch it. I didn't get to watch the press conference, but I did see the quotes where he was saying "fuck the whole team" over there. Actually, Theophane, he took some good fighters to the wire. The style ain't, it's a little nasty style he got over there. Adrian Broner, you seen when he got in with a nasty style like Parley, that he was having trouble. Maybe the same thing happens, man. Maybe Adrian Broner, you never know what you get. Is he gonna show up in shape? Is he gonna show up with a nice haircut and not in shape? You know what I mean? That might be the Adrian Broner you get. But if it's the best of Adrian Broner, he's going to return at 140 and get a unanimous decision. He's not getting any more stoppages, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't see it that way either, man.
No, I take that back. Adrian Broner just got to stop it. So I need to take that back. I can't sit up there and say that. If he's in shape, he's getting a stoppage.
We got Gus over here from the thing. Gus, you can call in, or you can just press this. Let me give this guy.
Where's the guy that is that the guy that him and Nash had the argument?
Yeah. I'm calling him right now. I did him. Gus, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Thank you, EJ. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm cool. You can't jump into the hangout. It'd be easier than you can. Much easier if you just press the link, or have you got a YouTube channel?
I'm listening live via YouTube, but
yeah, I just gave you a link. See that Google link here? If you press that link, you can actually come into the hangout.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, try that. Yeah, you can jump in. Me and have a chat about up and coming fights and you and Nez's little conversation.
Okay.
So that's Gus, man. Yeah, so we got the first time Gus coming over. Let's see how it goes, isn't it? Scorsese, but I should be interested in it. Scorsese.
I guess he talked about the fights.
And there we go. Who's that? Umar just jumped in. How you doing, Umar? Umar.
Yep.
How you doing, my friend? Here with Scorsese, bro.
Yep.
So what's going on, Umar, man? We was just covering the weekend fights. Your guy Sadam Ali from your ends from New York. What's your take against him against Jessie Vargas?
Well, the young god, Sadam Ali, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah Quran Ameen. Right up the road from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, he's gonna get it done, man. Allah bless him. He's gonna get it done. That's all I gotta say. He's destined. He's destined for greatness. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, no doubt about it.
Okay, cool, man. And we got Luis Ortiz versus Tony Thompson. How you see that?
And Tony Thompson's probably like 46, 47 years old, man. I like Tony. I mean, Tony gave us interviews. Tony's a cool cat, but I don't see how he can hang with Ortiz at this point. I mean, if he can, more power to him. But I just don't see it happening.
Wow, man. So that's a nice short and crisp. What else we got in there? You got any other fights, Umar, on your mind of the weekend? We've got quite a lot of fights in the weekend, you know, Umar. We got Tony Harrison versus Fernando Guerrero.
Man, didn't Tony Harrison just get knocked out his last fight?
Yeah, against Willie Nelson. That was a good fight, though, eh?
Yeah, it was a solid fight, but he was talking all that shit. And he got stopped. But I think he should be able to. If he can't beat Fernando Guerrero, he might as well retire and sell cars because Fernando Guerrero done been knocked out by everybody. See. Absolutely.
We got one of your favorite fighters actually fighting on Friday, Orlando Cruz. Yeah, versus Raymond Cashner. This is junior lightweight division, 10-rounder. How do you think your boy is gonna do, Umar?
Man, you know good and damn well I don't like that rainbow thong wearing faggot, man. I hope Orlando Cruz get hit by a car on the way to the fight. I don't give a fuck who he's fighting. I hope he loses.
Oh my god! Do you think him and Manny Pacquiao is gonna have conversations? Probably. You know, he wants to take Manny Pacquiao out for dinner and stuff like that, so we can understand him a bit more, innit?
Man, I hope they have that dinner in the Philippines so Manny Pacquiao could put him in a ditch somewhere, man. I'm not worried about no Orlando Cruz. I don't even know why you brought him up, because you knew you was gonna get me into a mind state you didn't want me to be in. So let's move away from Orlando Cruz.
All right, cool. But let me call Gus. I think Gus is having problems coming into the group. Hang on, let me call Gus. Yo, Gus.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. That will get me. Yeah, so what's going on, Gus, man? It's good to have you versus EJ Boxing Live Show prediction. This is prediction Tuesday, so we're talking about the fights up and coming this weekend. You got any take, or do you want me to go through who's fighting?
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with the schedule. The fights I've been looking at. The one in Russia is the interesting fight. Now we know the whole sort of the belt situation with the WBA is very, very confusing. But Ruslan Chagaev is the WBA regular champion. Tyson Fury is the WBA Super World champion. And Luis Ortiz is the WBA interim champion. But the bizarre thing is that the interim champion is interim to the regular champion and not the Super World champion, which is the definitive belt. Now we know they've got a tournament in the WBA. I think there's 6 or 7 different opponents, and eventually they're going to try and phase out this regular championship and just have the Super World Championship, and they may have the interim. The WBA hasn't announced that, but pending sort of injuries and whatever else. But with the Ruslan Chagaev, the interesting thing is that he's a very, very good fighter and has been. It was only a vintage Vladimir Klitschko that stopped him, because he's a short heavyweight. I think he's under 6 feet, possibly 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
But with him the situation with him is his illness. Now I think he's been suffering with hepatitis for quite a long time, and hence it's restricted his performances. And I believe there is some quarantine procedures with him actually fighting overseas. But I don't think overseas countries have allowed him to come to the States. So the question is, how is his health currently? Injuries and sort of illnesses, if he didn't have those issues, he would have fought probably a lot more regularly. So my only advice to Big Daddy Brown is keep the fight at long distance, because you don't want this guy breathing over you, because you might be coming back in a body bag.
That's a good point. Alright, question from the UK. We've got a fight in Birmingham on Sky. Sam Eggington versus Bradley Skeete. Obviously, with my American panel here, I'm not too sure they know about him, but give us your take on Bradley Skeete. Obviously, we know Bradley Skeete is with Frank Warren.
You know better than that, Errol. You know I know both those fighters. So stop.
Okay. Oh, cool, Umar. All right, so I'll give you a take in a bit on that one. So give you a take, Gus, on Sam Eggington versus Bradley Skeete. Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren.
Yeah, that's very, very good to see. I like this sort of rivalry between the two factions, and hopefully we'll get that with the Flanagan-Crawler fight if it ever happens. But Sag Eggington is an interesting guy. You know, he's been making a lot of plaudits with his recent performances on Sky, and he seems to be very much the guy on the march. But there's a lot of people with the Frank Warren camps that thinks that Bradley is a rough diamond, and I think they're actually predicting that he'd be able to knock out Sam very, very early. But I think Sam's a very underrated boxer. I think he can trade toe-to-toe when he has to. He's improved his ring generalship a little bit. His movements were a little bit cumbersome during the early sort of stages, because, let's face it, he's got no amateur pedigree at all. I mean, he's coming off prize fighters and there was those other tournaments. So 50-50, but I'd probably go for Sam Eggington, I think.
All right, cool, man. All right, cool. Last thing before, also there's another show probably if you're around, Michael Pound boxing show. They have it show every Thursday. It's like late at night, but if you're around, I'll give you a link to that one if you're ready. Last one, you and Nez. What an up and down one that was, yeah, on the PVC. Now,
yeah.
obviously where you work, obviously, like you gave your take on you don't think the PVC worked. Nez gave his take on that. For the people listening, can you elaborate on what happened and give us your take on that? I'm sure the people in the panel will probably have some words for you, but give us your take. Go ahead.
What it is, EJ, is that, you know, Nez has subsequently, basically, I wouldn't say he's conceded, but he's saying that, look, you did make some valid points, and maybe I was a little bit sort of critical, and hence is going to allow me to sort of, you know, my only intention in this one was just to look at the business model. It's not because I'm a hater or whatever else. Now, you know, all these pre-misconceptions, you know, I mean, I'm a boxing fan and have been for over 35 years, passionate fan. So it was more curiosity in looking at the business model and looking at, you know, the performances to see if it was a credible business model. So, you know, I did a little bit of sort of investigation. You know, some of the work I do in my sort of personal life, I have access to, you know, very good sort of systems which allow me to do analysis on companies and look at their accounts, and hence I did some research into the PBC just to see what their gate receipts were. And I was curious about these lawsuits which were impending. So there was a lot of negativity. So I was trying to think, well, is there any substance in this top rank and sort of golden boy lawsuits, or are they bitter because 70% of their fighters have obviously defected to the PBC. So I had a look at it, and I'm still having a look at it, and the problem is that a lot of people don't understand what it is. It's venture capitalism. Basically, you've got fund managers, mutual funds company, and investment banks in the US who basically allow individuals to buy companies and businesses, etc. So they've obviously invested into the PBC series. So it's not Al Heyman's money, essentially. It's these venture capitalists. So they've invested a lot of money, and hence I was negotiating directly with these networks, securing the purse bids and the fighters with the venture capitalist funds, and he's effectively spent up to 960 million for the next 2 years on fighters and venues, from what I can see on the accounts. And looking at the gate receipts, there's effectively no profit being made at all, and there's significant losses from what I can see in every one of the showcase fights over the last sort of 13 months. So it sort of begs the question, you know, is it really going to be sustainable for the long run? The current model, I can't see it. Something will definitely have to change. And effectively, these venture capitalists, they won't even break even. I've done a little projection, and I can see it'll be at least 6 years before they even break even. So are they realistically going to keep pumping $1 billion every year? No, they won't.
That's a good point. This is a good point. But obviously, we know that the PVC model, and over here in the UK with ITV, Al Heyman, and obviously he's got 3 Al Heyman fighters. He's got James DeGale. He has who else he got over here? He's got the Welsh. He's got the Welsh baby.
Frampton.
Yeah, Kill Frampton. So he's got UK fighters ready to go if they have a 10-fight down. So if they come over in the UK, maybe they can do some of them. How do you, right? Because I'm not.
Yo, can I jump in on the fucking Bradley Skeete fight, bro?
Yeah, in a minute, Umar. How do you think they could change their profits for them to make a profit? Or maybe that's his intentions, is just basically to get boxing out there. How do you see it for them to change it around?
It's very difficult. How it would work is that at the moment, sort of viewership in the States, peak times on some of the shows have been around 5 million views, which is pretty good. Now the networks will probably buy the productions if they can get around 6-7 million. So it's depending on viewerships, and it's depending on ratings. If it's a lucrative proposition, then now Heyman can actually sell the shows back to the networks instead of him paying like Showtime $30 million a year to actually show it. So that's ideally what he's trying to do, and the only way he's going to get that is by better matchups, quality fighters, and a lot of that we're not seeing at the moment. We've got too many. The problem with boxing is that we've got too many belts, too many fighters who don't want to fight each other, and we've got corrupt sanctioning bodies. We need to strip all of these belts and go back to the Ring Magazine belt as it was in the early 1900s, because this is just now getting ridiculous. Everybody can just fight for a title now, and it's not done by no subjective ranking system. It's done by these conventions that the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO hold, where they charge to actually speak, and basically they take deals and backhanders off these promoters to get their fighters on the rankings. Now that's how titles are decided, and that's how rankings are decided. It's not based on any strategic, credible system where if a fighter beats a fighter, he obtains a ranking point. I've had a look at them, and they just don't make any sense at all.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You make a good point about that. Fair point about that, man. Well, at least you had your take on that. Gus, I'm going to leave you though, but Gus, take this year.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, we like I said, there's Powerbound Boxing Show happening this Thursday, so I'll send you a link if you're around for that one. And if I have a show in the weekend, actually, we do got a post fight. If you're around, I'll send you for that one. But Gus, appreciate you coming over. You're gonna leave any where people social media can catch you?
At the moment, I'm sort of anonymous at the moment. It's better that way because I'm making so many so-called controversial comments. I better keep anonymous.
All right, then. Fair enough, Gus. Hey, we appreciate you coming over, and we'll talk to you, mate. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Umar, Bradley Skeete, and Sam Eggington. Go ahead, my man.
All right, before I go into Bradley Skeete, I got to comment on what he was saying. And I don't know why you would come to a British person to tell you how an American business, as far as the TV will work. It makes no sense. And you know that I've been saying this for the longest fucking time. The problem with the PBC, even though I had a lot of fucking pushback from British people, not you, Errol, because you know how shit works. EJ Boxing, you know how shit works over here better than most British people. A lot of British people say, oh, boxing should be able to compete with NFL. It should be able to compete with college football. No, it can't. You want PBC to fucking work? Start it after the NFL season and the college football season ends. From right now to the end of the summer, that's when they should fucking push all their fights. The problem is they're putting all their fights on Saturdays in the afternoon, the night against college football. Not going to work. You're putting them on Sunday against NFL. Not going to work. People are watching those games, period. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody from no other fucking country because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? The college football games get 20 million plus viewers no matter what. So you can't compete with that. So what you need to do is wait till college football and all that. It's a lull when it's just spring training baseball, which is not real baseball, and basketball before the playoffs. There's a nice little gap there. That's when you need to put the fights in between there, and that's where you get the ratings because there's a lull there. And anybody that can't see that's a fucking idiot.
Now listen to this, yeah? Boxing, football, basketball, and all things there. Back in the days, Umar, this is in the 80s, they all used to be around the same time. And it gave the viewer a chance to change. Yeah, obviously the market is for football because they've been...
The market has changed. Yeah, and you know the market has changed.
Let me finish what I'm saying because you bring a good point, right? But what I'm trying to say to you is that that is the prime time slot for boxing in terms of if you're going to catch any sort of audience. So they're not... I wouldn't say they're competing, but they're giving the audience an alternative. And that's the main time thing. But you're absolutely right. Football, basketball, and no other sports, obviously they're in season, the majority of football, but people is giving a fan watching alternative views. So he's just given, maybe, I give an example, you give a big point. Maybe they got off season where they're going to get all the attention. But again, like, it's going to be main time they get all the attention. But again, when the football and them not come, most fans are going to go back to that. So I don't think it's to do with the viewership in terms of that. I think it's to do with what Gus said. I think it's to do with the matchups, Umar. I think if you really have... I
don't think it has anything to do with the matchups because look at what the MLS does, right? The MLS is smart, right? The MLS, even though America hates soccer, right? But the MLS is finding their fucking place. They don't start their season till after football ends. When football ends, MLS starts. So they can pick up the random viewers as far as... And plus the regular people that like soccer. That's what they do. You think it would be smart for them to go against the NFL or college football? No. I wouldn't compare football that Americans don't really care about compared to boxing. Americans love boxing. It's just that boxing has no heavyweights now. They don't take Wilder and them heavyweight. But I still absolutely agree with you. That they absolutely agree with you in terms of if they have different slots, they can get more ratings. I agree with you. But the thing is, Americans and boxing, they go together as one. It's just that, like in amateurs is not that good. And obviously, in the pro ranks, Americans are not leading the world in boxing. You know, your heavyweight champion is over here in the UK. You know what I'm trying to say? So, and even that, even over here, Umar, right? That's the Fury's heavyweight champion of the world. He's not on the mainstream TV channels either. So I think it's disgusting. I see how that is. They're hyping up Anthony Joshua more than they are the heavyweight champion of the world, which is disgusting.
No, not really, because he was on TV and he's Olympic gold medalist. And that everyone saw that watch TV. Most people, but some people don't know who Anthony Joshua is. But I think boxing over in the world has suffered hardship in terms of what Gus pointed out as well with the sanctioning bodies and the corruption in boxing. So I take a bit of everything.
My opinion, right, from February to August, we should be boxing PBC. not even boxing, PBC's window. Put on shows from February when football ends to August, right before football begins in September. Put on shows. Then you'll pick up way more viewers because there's no football. The other sports are dense, and you got a chance to just pick up people who want to watch sports. Casual people.
Yeah, I agree.
Pick up ratings.
Now you got a good point, man. Some good point.
You know good and damn well because you watch college football. You love Vince Young.
Yeah,
you love all this shit.
Boxing, but you see the thing is, when college on, I'd watch both of them. I remember, like, I'd be honest with you.
I know you do, and I do. I do the same thing. I watch both, but a lot of people don't. The majority of people just say, "Hey, if there's a boxing match on and there's my football game on, I'm watching the football game. Fuck the boxing," and that's what most people do.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I don't know if the football fan is the boxing fan. If the boxing fan is a baseball fan or the baseball fan is a basketball fan, I can't guarantee that the guys I talk to who watch basketball watch boxing. It doesn't. It's just that I just grew up in that. I'll tell you what's rare. The UFC fan, some of the UFC fans watch boxing fan. I'm a guy who watch UFC and boxing. So you can have collab over and watch, because I watch UFC if there's good fights, and I watch boxing, depending if there's good fights as well. So, you know, it'll go both ways, depending on what kind of things you like. But you bring a good point in terms of off-season and trying to catch the market there and build up. I think, you're absolutely right, because there was a lull for 3 weeks, yeah? There was a lull in the boxing, and the PBC never capitalized it in January. They could have capitalized it. Last year they did with Deontay Wilder. But, again, this is new, Umar. It's a new system. They're still working at the kinks. I think Gus is talking about, obviously, in terms of the matchups. He's got a good point. But I think a lot of there's a lot of Latino fighters. And obviously, Latino kind of carry the market in terms of the States. So, but I'll tell you what, the PBC would work over in the UK. I think the PBC would work over here. I think it would work easy. I think it would work really good.
It might work well. I'm not talking about England. I can't speak to the market in England. That would be better for you. But I'm speaking to the market in America.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear people from other countries telling me that college football shouldn't be competing, and I heard so many videos from dumbass people from England, and I'm not even mentioning no names, but dumbass people from England are trying to tell Americans that college football shouldn't compete with boxing. No, dumbass. The market has changed. College football is God. NFL is God in this country. Nothing's going to compete with that. Nothing. And that's the point I always try to make to people. Nothing can compete with that. So what you should do is avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just avoid it. Like, dump college football. Move into the offseason of college and NFL football and put your shows right then and there. Bounce back to back. Kill them with the shows and you'll get ratings.
Cool, man. No problem. All right, give us your take on Bradley Skeete versus Sam Eggington.
Well, I think Bradley Skeete should win that fight, man, because I seen Sam Eggington fight that one fight. He fought against that, what's that guy, fucking something Coyle? And the guy had like fucking 3 fights, and he lost that fight to the guy. And at the time, fucking this guy had like 16, 17. No, he had 17. He had 17 fights. Now, he had like 15, 16 fights at the time. He lost to a guy with 3 fucking fights. I think Bradley Skeete should be able to take care of this guy. I mean, he lost to Frankie Gavin in a somewhat close fight, even though they gave that unanimous decision. But I think, and I don't think Brett. I think he should be able to handle Sam Eggington. If he can't handle Eggington, then I think he's got a lot more trouble to go in the future.
Yeah, cool. And we've got Kyle Yagafai versus Dixon Flores. How you see that fight, man?
I don't know, EJ. I don't know who either one of those guys are.
yeah, you guys know what I'm saying, bro. But you know what? I was actually surprised. That's why I wasn't even trying to be rude. I didn't know you knew them two, but I'm glad you did though, because it's good you talked about them. So, all right, so let's talk about a fight. I talked to you about Tony Thompson, whatever, and you done. I think the last one is Ruslan Chagaev versus Lucas Brown. I don't know if
I didn't get to talk about that.
Yeah.
I remember yesterday you were telling me that they were, or maybe not yesterday, maybe the day before, but I remember you telling me that
it was yesterday. I told you.
You were telling me that they were calling Chagaev the Iron White Tyson or some shit.
Yeah, his nickname is the White Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, White Tyson. I mean, he is a midget. He does hit hard, but I don't know about all that. But like I was saying to you yesterday, bro, when I seen Lucas Brown's last fight, he was struggling with that black dude with like 16 losses. Like, I don't know, man. I never heard of that black dude. That black dude was slipping punches and looking good for the first 6 rounds. I mean, he eventually got knocked out. But, I mean, the guy already had 16 losses, got knocked out 12 times before that. So, I mean, he was supposed to get knocked out. But for 6, 7 rounds, he's over here slipping your punches and making you look silly. So I got to think Chagaev should be able to do something with you. So I'm going to pick Chagaev.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. But so you got Chagaev winning that fight against Lucas Brown, right?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if I'm wrong, but I got to go with Chagaev.
What you got? Your nice decision, knockout? How do you see it?
I got a decision because I mean, I got a decision.
Cool, man. Jorge Paez Jr. goes against Antonio Margarito, return of Antonio Margarito in Mexico. How you see that fight game?
See, that's a hard fight. I've seen Jorge Paez Jr. fight a couple times. He is what he is. He's a solid fighter for what he is. And Antonio, but the thing about Antonio Margarito is I haven't seen Margarito fight. I'm gonna keep it real. The last time I seen Margarito fight a fight was when he got knocked out by Shane Mosley. That's the last time I seen him fight. Or was the Manny Pacquiao fight after that?
Okay. Jorge Paez you talking about, or
No, Margarito. Was the Manny Pacquiao fight after that?
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao took his eye out and shit, bro.
All right, yeah, that's the last time I seen Margarito.
Cotto was the last one he bashed him up.
All right, well then Cotto. I seen all 3 of those fights. So one of those was the last time I seen him fight. So I don't know how much Margarito's left. I don't know what he's coming with. But if Margarito's coming with, say, 75 to 80% of what Margarito was, I think he should handle Paez Jr. But I really don't know. But I just go with Margarito just because I don't know enough about Paez.
Yeah, Vivian Harris outpointed him clearly. He can hit pretty hard as Paez. Vivian Harris, he's only 5'7", and Margarito is 5'11". And you know, Margarito fights like a small guy.
He's tall and he's long. Margarito should be able to handle it. If he can't, then he might as well retire.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, breaking news, Umar. And give your first take. You give your first take on this. Shannon Briggs versus David Haye, possible for May the 31st at the O2 Arena in London. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
I don't even care. I don't care who wins. I think the shit's just gonna be entertaining as hell because Shannon gonna be talking that greasiness, that greasy griminess. But you know me. I mean Shannon from Brownsville, man. I'm rooting for Shannon. I can't root for David Haye over Shannon, even though David Haye probably flatline him. I'm rooting for the old man with the veins popping out of his forehead. I'm rooting for Shannon.
Let me tell you something, bro. Shannon can bang me, bro. Shannon the Cannon Briggs can punch. David better fucking move away from them punches, bro. He can put it on you, so I ain't gonna be surprised, yeah, if he put some serious pressure on Haye stamina doesn't hold up, but we'll have to find out.
You seen David Haye? Who the fuck? What was that? What's homeboy's name that knocked David Haye out in the roast? Basically,
Carl Thompson, man.
Carl Thompson, yeah, he basically gassed in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but that was a long time ago, so I can't really use that against him. But I mean, if Shannon could survive the first 4 rounds, I think he could give David Haye some trouble down the stretch. But if David Haye catches him early, you know it's gonna be ugly because David Haye hits like a fucking ton, man.
Absolutely. And we've got Nata TV coming. How you doing, Nata?
Hey, what's going on? What's up, man?
Hey, cool, man. At least I got you for the little guys because I don't show Umar, and I definitely Scorsese didn't know about it. We got Yamanaka, what's his name again? Shinsuke Yamanaka
versus Liborio Solis, yeah.
See, Nata knows, bro. So give us your take on that fact. Right. Nata knows, bro.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
Thing is, Yamanaka, to be honest, I actually thought he lost his last couple of fights. I mean, I think he's been the beneficiary, or maybe not his last couple, but 2 of his last 3 anyway. I thought Moreno beat him, but you know they were fighting in Japan. I think he kind of got one of those tie goes to the hometown fighter type deals, and he actually had the same thing against a fighter from Thailand. Sorry,
I saw that fight. That was a good fight, bro. I actually done commentary on that one. That was a very good United's decision. He won that one. That was a tight fight. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, the Moreno fight was tight too, and really I thought Moreno beat him, but you know he managed to get the decision. I think there's a good chance that this may happen again with Solis too, because Solis is a pretty good fighter. He's a dude from Venezuela, And I mean, he's a skilled guy. He only has a couple losses from like earlier in his career, but he's improved since then. And I think he'll be another tough fight for Yamanaka. The thing about Yamanaka is he's fought really high level opposition, like tough guy after tough guy. That's a big part of the reason why he's kind of ranked like in the bottom part of the top 10 pound for pound on certain lists. Like I think the ring has him like number 10.
Yeah, he ranked number 9.
Yeah, and I mean it's really just by virtue of the fact that he's been fighting like the best opposition at bantamweight. Even if like personally I don't think he's won all the fights, but I mean just the fact that he's been fighting them has really kind of gotten him there by attrition, really. Solis is another tough fight for his ass though. Like I mean he might not get as lucky this time because I mean he's just as tough as, well I don't want to say just as tough as Moreno was, because Moreno was like legit. Like to me Moreno's like probably one of the most skilled guys regardless of weight.
You know what, I did see that Moreno versus Yamanaka fight. I did see that fight.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know you're familiar with Moreno.
I didn't realize Moreno fought him until Nauta just brought it up, because I watched the last like 4 fights of Moreno. Moreno has been getting some tough decisions in a lot of his fights lately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, on the undercard of that fight, we come on.
Yo, the undercard fight on that fight is like you're gonna want to catch it on YouTube after it happens, because Yu Kimura, that guy is a fucking action fighter, man. He's fighting against Ganagan Lopez. Honestly, I think it's probably gonna go just like his last couple of fights have gone. Like,
how the fuck do you know these guys?
Listen, I don't know how he knows them. I watch with these guys, but I can't pronounce their names for freaking. But go ahead, Nauta, because
Yu Kimura, like honestly, I thought he got a robbery against Pedro Guevara in his last fight. And I mean, but the thing is, he's one of those guys that he's good. He's a good fighter, but he's flawed, and he's flawed enough so that even a guy that's not on the elite level is going to give him hell. And I think that's exactly what Lopez is going to be for him.
Yeah. All right, so that guy, I saw that come off. I see him beat.
Because the thing is, Ganagan Lopez, he actually fought Guevara too. They both fought Guevara last year. Lopez lost a unanimous decision, but it was a close one. And Kimura won a split decision, and like really, I thought he should have lost that.
That's what I saw as well.
They're really even matched.
It should be good, isn't it? It should be a good match, actually.
Yeah. That one especially. That one will probably be like the most action-packed fight of the weekend, because I mean those guys like.
No, to me,
the way the styles match up.
No, to me, hook up and do some commentary on that one, bro. Hook up,
for sure. Do
some commentary on that one. But no, to see something like Nauta, and this is the thing about everyone who's joined the panel. Everyone has got their specific areas of what they like to talk about. So Nauta, we got Umar's favorite fight, Orlando Cruz versus. I don't know this guy's name. What do you know about?
Yo, you better stop, my nigga. You better stop with that. You better stop with that shit.
Umar gonna read the flag and shit.
Umar can't stand him. I'm just being sarcastic.
Yeah, man.
No.
Hey, honestly though, like, no disrespect to anybody, but the funniest thing, like, honestly, because like it was like a trip. Like I never would have expected it. I think it was on the Bradley versus Marquez undercard when Orlando Cruz fought Orlando Salido.
Yeah.
And the entire crowd started chanting "Puto, Puto, Puto" like in like the 4th round.
I remember that. That's when Salido fucking dropped him in the corner. He beat him to a submission in the corner. I remember that shit.
What's puto mean? What's that mean?
It means bitch in Spanish.
Okay, cool.
It means bitch.
Yeah. So basically, like I was watching, I'm like, oh shit, Salido better run out of there. He's gonna get charged with a hate crime after this shit. This dude to chance like that.
Yo, he deserved that, man. You know why he deserved that beating? Not even because he's a Bati boy. He deserved the beating because he came to the weigh-in in that that rainbow colored thong. That shit really pissed me off.
Did you see the trunks though?
Yeah.
It was the Puerto Rican flag in the rainbow colors.
Yeah, and I know Puerto Rico. I know that's the first time in history Puerto Ricans wanted their own fighter to get knocked the fuck out. I guarantee you.
Well, his opponent Koasicha, he actually fought. He's fought a couple good fighters. He fought Lomachenko. His last fight, got knocked out by him. So I mean, really, I'd say these guys are pretty much equal level. He fought Lee Selby also. Lee Selby got a.
So you win about Cruz and
I mean, honestly, I think Koasicha probably is a little too much for him. To be real with you. I think he's probably a little too tough. He's he's like no special effects or anything, but he's a grinder. And for Cruz,
that tells you what Nauta just says. Tells you the level. And I just want to move it a little bit to a left. That shows you the level of fighter that Lomachenko's been fighting for his last couple of fights. He's fighting guys that are nowhere near his level.
Oh yeah, man. They've been patty caking him, man. They've been giving him a lot of easy fights.
Okay. Hey Nota. So this is the thing I can go with Nota. So there's a fight in Thailand. Go or Dory.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, go Odaira versus Wanheng Manayotin.
Yeah. This is for the people listening. It's a 12-round strawweight division for the WBC. What's his name again? What's his name again? WBC strawweight.
Manayotin.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Manayotin. He's an interesting character, man. He's 40-0 with 15 knockouts. So I mean, if you want to look at anybody that might be knocking on the door of that 50-0, it might be him because he's averaged like 4 fights a year the last 3 years, even though he's a champion. Most champions don't fight that often. But sometimes, like especially these guys from Thailand, they'll fight their next door neighbor, then they'll fight, elite level competition. They fight anybody and everybody.
On his records, he's got 40 wins with 15 knockouts, bro. That guy's been busy, bro. Fuck that shit, bro. Woo.
Yeah, well, and like a lot of fighters from Thailand, he was a Muay Thai practitioner before he like turned over to boxing, and he's just been doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's good. He's really good though. Like he's short. He's only like 5'1.5" or 5'2", but I mean the thing is like he's able to close distance on guys. Like he's fought guys that are like 5'4", 5'5", and had no problems closing the distance on them.
Strawweight. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Strawweight. That's 105, right?
Yeah, that's the lightest.
Yeah, it's the lightest division.
105.
Yeah. The
thing is, Odaira has a height advantage on him because he's 5'3". Yeah. But Odaira, I mean, he's a good fighter though. I mean, so like this is a legit opponent for him, really, because Odaira had fought the guy that was the unified strawweight champion.
Kasunori.
Yeah, Takayama. He was fighting Takayama evenly, but then Takayama managed to knock him out. He just hit him with one of those those wild random shots, and it was over.
That was a good fight.
Well, the thing is,
one more question now, because you watch all these little guys, and I know whenever I watch little fights, it's usually like a brawl that goes all around, and they just throwing a million punches. How many times do you see like knockouts down there?
Well, and generally, like there'll be more like the volume type knockouts. There'll be like those TKO type fights, type knockouts. But really, it depends on the fighter. I mean, I'd say it's not to a high degree less than any other weight class. I mean, to be completely real, it really depends on the fighter. But it's just so happened. I think a lot of the best fighters at the lowest weights haven't been big punchers necessarily. Like Ivan Calderon, he only had like 5 knockouts in his whole career, but he was a skillful, technician. But every once in a while, like when you get guys that are like true one-shotters, like like Arroyo was, like or is like Liborio was, like Segura was.
Were you talking about Mick Williams Arroyo?
Yeah. Arroyo fucked you up.
I like Mick Williams Arroyo.
His brother Matt Joe Arroyo can punch as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, McJoe's a bit more technical though. Like he's like. For the Arroyos, it's almost like McWilliams is more like Rafael, and McJoe is more like Juan Manuel. He's more of the boxer.
McWilliams, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, McWilliams is the guy that wants to fucking knock you the fuck out. Like he's putting everything on that hook.
Yeah.
I like watching the Arroyo brothers. I like watching them.
They're really good.
No, I want to talk to you about a fight. This fight really bothers me. It's that Carlos Quadra. You know what I'm talking about? Carlos Quadra, and he won the belt off this Thailand fighter, Saring Ruslan, whatever his name is, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, that dude, he's been campaigning, since then he's lost, since then he lost to Carlos Quadra, and he won that fight. I don't know if you've seen it, I've done commentary on it, where him with a body shot and then a head clash, and he won the belt by basically a technical decision. He's won like 8 in a row. In his last fight, he fought in Thailand. He hit a guy with a body shot, Listen to this, right, people? The guy, everything the guy ate up the day before came out on the ring apron. I'm talking about blood, cakes, everything. It all came out of his stomach and it was all over the canvas. it was ridiculous. I'm actually going to do commentary. What do you think about that guy, the Thailand fighter, and when do you think he should be fighting for the belt? I mean, he's had like, what, 11 in a row since losing to Kadra by technical decision. What's your take on that fight? And
well, supposedly they were supposed to be running it back. I mean, because Rungvisai just became the mandatory, I think, last year when he knocked out Jose Zagala.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's actually a good example of what Ben Umar was just talking about. He's a guy that he'll knock you the fuck out. Like he'll fuck your shit up.
Best body punches ever.
Yeah, he's 38, 4-1 with 35 knockouts. You know, that's like a 90% knockout ratio for wins.
Yeah. So
I mean, he'll mess you up pretty bad. And I mean, the fight with him and Quadros was really heating up too before before that shit got stopped.
Quadros got a body punch here, and he was on the run, bro. He was about to get taken out, bro.
Yeah.
And the head clash came in. He's lucky.
Yeah.
He's about to get took out in Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they can do that rematch before Quadros possibly gets a fight with Roman Gonzalez, because I know the word was Gonzalez was probably going to be moving up to 115 after Arroyo.
Yeah.
And either fighting somebody like Kono or Quadros. And see, Quadros is with Taken Promotions, and Taken Promotions is who's the main promoter for Gonzalez. You know, they've been only outsourcing out to K2 for his American fights. So I mean, it would be easy to make. You know, they'd be able to keep more of the money in house. And also,
Roman's still at 112.
Yeah.
So he's got 151. So he ain't gonna ever make it up to 122.
Nah, he looks fat.
Honestly, I doubt it, because I mean. Yeah, you know, he started at 105. He legit struggled to make 105. 108 was a little bit, you know, it wasn't like necessarily a super struggle, but you know, it's one of those things where he felt more comfortable moving up again. And I mean, I know his goal like was to win titles at two weight classes at the same time. So I don't know if he wanted to do it at 112 and 115 or 115 and 118. But I mean, to be honest, I doubt he would ever see 122. Because I mean, even though he gets a little chubby between fights, like it seems like he loses it real fast. Because he does, you know, like it looks like it's more like in his face. Like he has one of those bear faces or whatever. You know.
If he makes it up to 122, then he has to fight Rigondeaux, and I don't think he's gonna go up there and fuck around with that.
Yeah, honestly, I doubt he would. But if I mean, there's all these people that are trying to say that Rigo would be willing to fight him at 118. I don't know if that's just Max Kellerman talking shit, which I'm sure it probably is. But I mean, either way, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it regardless of the weight. Because I mean, I know Rigo.
Can Rigondeaux make 118?
Well, see, that's the main thing, is that a lot of people saying that he can just because, you know, he's not the biggest guy at 122. But honestly, I think it's one of those cases where a lot of fighters, when they've never dehydrated before, the first time they do it probably isn't the best time for them to be doing it. Like, remember Chris Bird when he dropped down the heavyweight, and then he got fucking wrecked.
That was bad.
He got fucking wrecked, man. He wasn't a big heavyweight.
You know what's funny? Everybody was saying that about him, and I'll give you another one. When Eddie Chambers dropped down from heavyweight to fucking cruiserweight, they just didn't look right.
Chambers.
Was saying, they're small. They can drop down these weights. No, they couldn't drop down to those weights.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is dehydrating like anything else. I mean, that's a skill. Like, if you don't know how to do it right, you're gonna go in there and you're not gonna have anything on you. Like, I mean, De La Hoya versus Pacquiao is a good example too. You know what I mean?
Like, oh God, yeah, that fight was bullshit. I don't even like De La Hoya, but that wasn't. Look, put it this way: if you telling me the real De La Hoya when he was in his prime at 147 against Pacquiao, that'd have been a different fight.
Oh man,
it would have been completely different.
Completely different. I think Pacquiao probably would have got put to sleep if that was a De La Hoya in his prime.
Same with Mosley too, because I mean Mosley was old and like he really didn't belong at that weight either. You know, like he was talking all that shit about like, oh, I can still make 147. Like, yeah, and like you could make 147 and like, you know, for a photo shoot, not to be a healthy world-class boxer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean that's like bodybuilders, for instance. You know, they'll dehydrate for those shows or whatever. But the thing is, those people that's probably at their most unhealthy when they're on those shows because
they don't have any energy. They have no energy. They have no fucking strength left in their body. They can pose and take pictures like you said, but they can't. Yeah. They can't do anything else besides that.
Yeah, basically, like they need to eat immediately, or like, you know, they'll fucking pass out, and
Like I walk around normally like 270 pounds. If I drop down to 200 to look all cut up and all whatnot, I'm already in good shape. But if I drop down to 270 to look crazy cut, I would be like a skeleton. I'd be ready to die.
On that Biggie tip.
Hey, no, sir. I don't think we've got your take on the weekend's fights. Crawford, Lundy.
Well, I'll get to those in a second. Let me mention Briggs and Hay, because I heard you guys talking about that when.
Yeah. Go. Let's go chat.
Honestly, I really like Briggs. I'm like Umar. I'm a big fan of Briggs. I think probably because like he's nostalgic for me, because it reminds me of when I was a kid, like when he first came onto the scene. But I mean, honestly, David Hay should really knock him out, because if he doesn't, then I mean, I think that's kind of that'll be kind of a bad look on Hay. And the thing is, Briggs doesn't really, he never had the greatest stamina, and ever since he's gotten older, it's gotten worse. And then also the fact that he's not really the most defensively sound fighter either. So, I mean, to me, unless Hay gets caught with something stupid, which, I mean, Briggs is prone to do, though, because, I mean, Briggs could knock out a fucking elephant with those shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, unless he just does something absolutely stupid, get caught with something dumb, Hay should really win that fight, fairly easily. Because I mean, he's too quick, he's too prime still. I mean, honestly, I think he's probably been one of those guys that's benefited from the time off.
Hey, think he's been more active than Hay, He might have the conditioning. Briggs has got better conditioning. Yeah. He's more active.
Well, and the thing is, Hay looks like he's put on like legit muscle too. Like he looks like he started like one of those routines to just build mass and become just a bigger, stronger guy. Probably take punches better and the whole nine. So
Briggs has got tons of experience over David Hay in that division. Tons. He's got tons of. Whether he'd be able to do it is another thing. But hey, it should be an interesting fight. All right, now so go on. Give us your take on the weekend's fights, bro.
All right. Well, let's see. I guess I'll start with Ortiz Thompson. Ortiz, I mean, I think he's legit, man. I think he's ready for any of the top guys at heavyweight. I'd probably favor him over everybody there except for Fury. I think Fury, I think he'd be able to be a little too slick for him. And also, like, on the inside, too. I think he has that's the weird thing, is that he's the taller guy, but I think he's actually the better inside fighter than Ortiz. Ortiz needs a little space to get his shots off. And the funny thing, though, is Thompson is kind of that way, too. So I think that'll play right into Ortiz's hands. I think Ortiz probably stops him late. Maybe, like, 7th or 8th round, something like that. Sadam Ali versus Jessie Vargas. I got Ali in that one. Vargas hasn't been consistent enough for me. And, I mean, Sadam Ali fought... Who was that dude that he fought? What was that, like one fight ago?
Bryan, isn't it? You talking about Jeremy Bryan?
No. 2 fights ago. The Mexican cat. I can't think of his name now. The guy, Francisco Santana. That's what his name was. That guy.
I thought you were talking about old boy he knocked out. That had been knocked out many times. I forgot my man's name.
No. I'm talking about Santana. Like, Santana was a legit, really good fighter too, because he beat Eddie Gomez. Like, I didn't think Eddie Gomez was gonna lose anytime soon, and that dude beat him. So I mean, to me, that said a lot.
Eddie Gomez. And speaking of Eddie Gomez, that's EJ's boy. Eddie Gomez's career has went down the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Eddie, and that's EJ's boy.
Yeah, it was my boy. He just went.
Well, I think it's really just that loss kind of put him on the back burner to a degree, because I think he was getting fast tracked, and I mean he'd been fighting since he was like 17.
Yeah.
And he's still a young guy. He's only 23, so I mean he could probably still recover. But he's a dude that I think was another guy that was trying to drain too much, because he had made 147 since he was 17 or whatever. He's a bigger man now, so he should probably just.
Tell you what, I'll be completely heartbroken and surprised if Sadam loses to fucking old boy, man. I'll be very surprised with that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think he's just I think Jessie Vargas at his best could potentially beat Sadam Ali, but the thing is, you don't know if he's going to be at his best. He's wishy-washy. Sometimes he looks really good. Yeah. Other times he doesn't look like anything special. So I think
at skill level, they're probably pretty even, but the thing that separates them is Saddam's feet. Saddam's footwork is so great that I think he should be able to box circles around Jessie Vargas if he fights the proper way.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I favor him. I think he wins a decision. I think it'll probably be like close, unanimous, something like that. But yeah, I think Ali's just a step ahead, just a step above.
Tell you what, when he wins that world title, I'm going to his gym on Monday.
Yeah, man. And then the fight on that's gonna start off that card, I believe, Castellanos versus Escondón. That's gonna be a fun one, man. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
What weight class is that?
It's featherweight.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me see. Is it for a title or? Well, okay, it's for the WBC interim. So I guess the winner becomes the Mando for Santa Cruz has the WBC, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whoever wins will be I guess the Mando. I know Escondón was supposed to have fought. Well, I know when Rigo was in talks with possibly signing to Heyman before, they were trying to give him Escondón. You know and then Moises Flores beat Escondón for his 122 title, so that kind of went down the tubes. And then they were going to offer him Flores, and then Rigo signed to Rock Nation, and that was that. So I mean, and then Escondón, they were actually going to match him up against Gary Russell Jr., but then Gary Russell pulled out of that fight. I guess they said that he messed up his hand or something. So I mean, he missed out on that. But honestly, I thought Escondón would have given him like a hell of a run, if not beat him. He's a good fighter. He's really short. He's only like 5'2", 5'3", but he's fast, man. He's fast as shit. And he had a fight against the guy Jesus Cuellar. He knocked Cuellar the fuck out. He was hurting Cuellar bad in that fight just because he was way too quick for him. He's only 5'1.5" is what he's listed on BoxRec, so he's a little guy. But he closes the distance fast as hell. He's like almost like a mini Gamboa type dude. And then Castellanos is, I mean, he's like a boxer slugger, I guess you might call him. He's technically proficient as a boxer, but he has good ability on the inside and like the good ability to kind of swarm you, and he'll like take little side steps to the side, and like and just hit you with combination after combination, sidestep combinations. So like he's really good at that. So honestly, I think that's gonna be an action fight. I think that'll probably be the best fight of that card between those two.
Wow, man. Cover that. Antonio Margarita is going against Jorge Paez Jr. What's your take on that, bro?
Well, Paez Jr. is not a joke. I don't know if you guys saw his fight with fights actually with Chavez Jr. Or not Chavez Jr. with Omar Chavez. With his little fight.
Yeah. I think I saw one of them, but I saw Paez versus Jr.
His name Paez Jr. I mean, in spite of the fact that Margarito's gonna have like a big like height and reach advantage on him, Paez Jr. closes the distance real quick, man. He's not an easy guy to beat. But I mean, put it this way: Jose Benavidez knocked him out. Margarito, at least on paper, should be able to stop him, if not beat him clearly. So I mean, really, Margarito should take it, and I think he will. I mean, even against Cotto in that last fight, I thought Margarito still had some of the old stuff. I think it just probably took him longer to get warmed up because he's an older guy. It's become tougher to make the weights and everything for him. And when that's the case, it tends to take you longer to warm up. And also the fact that Cotto had improved also since their first fight. He was.
That's what I would say. If Margarito's Margarito, he should be able to beat Paez.
Yeah,
that's what you can think about.
And I'm sure he does. I mean, I doubt he's I doubt he's really depreciated because I mean, who else has he really had taken damage against since Cotto? I mean, nobody.
But you just screwed me on something. I didn't know that dude Escondón beat Cuellar. I didn't know he beat Cuellar.
Yeah, he knocked him out.
I know Cuellar. Cuellar's a pretty good fighter. I didn't know he beat him.
Yeah, he sparked him. He's that's the thing. He's one of those guys that he's almost like pretty much like the way Pacquiao was at the higher weights. Like he's just short, but he's explosive. And I think the fact that he's able to use the fact that he's so short to his advantage, that's almost like he'll get guys to lean in on him, and then he'll just just pretty much explode into like Superman punches basically at him, and hit him.
You gave me a good reason to watch that fight now, because I know who Cuellar is. So and this guy knocked Cuellar out, so I could watch that fight and enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight. Castellanos isn't a joke either. He had a setback when he got TKO'd by Rene Alvarado a couple years back, but I mean, other than that, he's been one of those guys that he's got one of those records almost like a Salido, where he was getting matched tough guy after tough guy after tough guy, and it kind of built him into a, you know,
well, yeah, Salido's one of my favorite fighters to watch. And Salido done lost a gang of fights.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know, I think they're trying to talk about him versus Vargas. I don't know if they actually got that signed yet, but him versus Francisco Vargas was possibly on the horizon.
I love watching Francisco Vargas. Shout out to Francisco Vargas, man, when he comes out with the bandana wrapped around his face with them fucking gangsta-ass Mexicans.
Yeah,
looking
man,
like fucking MS-13 and shit. That dude's a beast.
Yeah, he
Francisco
is.
Vargas is a beast.
The fight with Muro was the shit, man. That was the fight of the year last year, easy.
Yeah, I told you, EJ, last year, because nobody on our panel at the time, I'm not saying they didn't know who he was, but they didn't remember, and I was like, yo, Francisco Vargas is gonna be the fight of the night, yo. Trust me. I kept saying that, and he came out, he showed up and showed out. I love Francisco, man. He's a beast.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first time, like, I had seen him before this, but, like, the first time he had really made an impression on me, and I think I named him, like, my prospect of the year for, like, 2014 or something off of this performance was when he fought against Brandon Bennett, who was Adrian Broner's homeboy.
The black dude. Yeah, the black dude that was supposed to be somebody, and fucking Francisco was a no-name. He came in there and put that work on him. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because Broner wrapped him to the ring and everything, and, like, you know, and he was favored. Bennett was favored, too.
He was band camp, he was favored, and he was supposed to beat the shit out of him. Francisco was like, nah, homie, and he beat the shit out of him. Yo, I was like, who's this dude? That's what made me recognize him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a breakthrough. That was a breakthrough performance.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that was on ESPN, wasn't it? Or on Showtime Extreme?
Showbox. It was on Showbox, yeah.
Showbox. Yeah. I remember that fight.
But what do you call it? Vargas, I think, is all wrong for Salido, though. I think, like, Vargas is pretty much like what Salido was when he was younger. And I think that just the way that style matches up, I think Vargas will probably wind up knocking Salido out. Just because when you have guys that are similar in style like that, I think the punches line up in a way where, like, they wouldn't otherwise. It almost kind of like.
Now, to what gang is Vargas from? He ain't no Norteño. What the fuck gang is he from? He's from somewhere. He's from a southerner gang or something.
No. If he was, he'd be rocking either the blue or red. He never rocks like a consistent color. So.
Well, I swear, the dudes he's with are gang affiliated because they look like they killed somebody every time before they come in the ring.
Yeah, possibly. It reminds me of. I remember one time I was doing a pod with Lex Roger and stuff in there, and we were talking about one of Zhou Shiming's opponents. Somebody was saying that his opponent looked like a dude straight off of MS-13 and shit. Like he was like about to get the tat on his face. Shit.
Straight up, yo. That's why I like Francisco Vargas. He's a gangster, man. He comes out there.
But that's the thing. Vargas is from Mexico City, though. So I mean, if he was like straight up from a hood gang, it's probably like one of the real ones, like the cartels and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cartel.
Like those like I mean the Mexican American gangs, like, they ain't got nothing on those cats, man. They ain't got
those dudes have beef. Those dudes really pretty much have beef.
Yeah, I mean they ain't got nothing on the El Chapo dudes of the world, man. Those guys will rattle up your whole fucking city.
Shit.
They'll fucking blow your mayor's head off just like to prove a point and shit.
Hey, you guys, let's keep. Hey, anything else you and the guys want to bring up? You guys give me, Joe. Anything else you guys want to talk about boxing related?
Well, you got J-Rock this weekend too.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we talked about it. Go ahead, J-Rock.
I mean,
yeah, after that we go.
I ain't never seen this Marcello Matano guy. I don't know if he's good or not. But I know J-Rock has been ducked by a lot of guys. There's a lot of people that really don't want to be fighting him. I know he's with him, and then he's been trying to get fights with the Lars and the Charlos of the world, but for whatever reason they haven't been happening. So I mean, I'm just anxious to see him, back in the scene again. I'm sure he wins, because he's a really good fighter. I mean, this dude would have to be something special, I think, probably to beat J-Rock.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
So I mean, he should take that. Antoine Douglas. I mean, he should win his fight too. Who else is on there? Oh, Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison. Why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's the guy that lost to Willie Nelson. His last
That's
fight.
what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, the knockout artist, man. Yeah, I was really enjoying that fight too, man. I thought he was gonna win that fight.
He's fighting it. Yeah.
I thought he's fighting Fernando Guerrero. That guy's not that great. He should knock Guerrero out. Fernando Guerrero got knocked out years back against.
By
I forgot who it
everybody.
was.
Yeah, by everybody.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. Guerrero's been knocked
I
out by
think
everybody.
Angulo ran through him in like a round or something like that too, like a few years ago.
Angulo got him. Peter Quinlan got him. Who else got him? A couple more guys got him. And Fernando Guerrero at one point from Maryland. I remember
never
he
mind.
was.
You know what? I was thinking of a different Guerrero. Fernando Guerrero, the Dominican cat.
Yeah, the Dominican.
Yeah.
Ness's little brother. I always get on Ness. That's Ness's little brother, man. He gets knocked out by everybody.
Yeah, man. That one against... Didn't Lemieux knock him out too?
Yes, he did. He got knocked out by everybody. Every time he steps up, he gets knocked out.
Well, I mean, this should be no different then.
Yeah, I don't see no difference.
Yo, speaking of which, though, I mean, what's going on with Willie Nelson? They need to get him another fight, man. That was a hell of a knockout when he knocked
I don't know. That's EJ's boy. Willie Nelson's EJ's boy. I don't know. That's EJ.
Yeah, that's my boy. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I mean, I got him on my Skype sometimes. I message him sometimes and that. But I have no idea. But now to let Umar give your take. Let Umar, you give your take on it before now to jump in. Cause now now this goes off.
On what? On Julian?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I thought Julian was calling out Austin Trout, if I'm not mistaken, for a while, and Austin Trout didn't want to fight him. And like not to say, it seems like a lot of guys have been ducking him. So I think Julian's gonna end up knocking this guy out that he's fighting, because I don't know who the guy he's fighting, and if the guy pulls out of Adrian Granados on him, you know what I mean, and just upsets him, fair enough. But I just assume he's gonna win, and he's gonna win by knockout. So that's just my assumption. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna stick with my assumption. I think I'm right.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy has one loss, and it was by knockout. So I mean, that was about two years ago. So J-Rock should take him.
Yeah, in the chat we got brother E. He goes, nah, fam, because I live in DC. I'm be kind of rooting for him. But I can't see it happening. Ortiz is on a different level. I don't even see Prime Thomas beating Ortiz. It's true though. That's true, man. I don't see a Prime saying, yeah, beats. Facts beats. I tell you what, yeah, like the Ortiz fight. Tony Thompson's fighting in his hometown, and like I said to you, like he hits hard. Ortiz better bring his game, but if he Ortiz just keeps what he's doing, he should be able to stop Tony Thompson. But it should be a good fight. Tony Thompson's gonna bring. I actually tried to ring him actually, but his phone's off because we had an interview back in the days about a year ago as well. It's a good interview as well, but should be a good fight. Go ahead, Nota. Any other fights you missed out?
Hold on a second. Let me take a look at the schedule again.
I was checking the schedule. I know I have my own schedule as well. I got the Ring Magazine schedule right in front of me as well, like you.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ESPN
fight.
Well, there's Chagaev versus Lucas Brown.
Robertson Castillo, you know Robertson thing who beat
Hold on a second.
Runny thingy. You know what I'm talking about?
Chagaev versus Lucas Brown is
go and do that. Yeah, go and do that.
So I mean, Chagaev should win because Lucas Brown. I've seen him in the past. He's a pretty sloppy looking guy, but I mean he's racked up a bunch of wins lately. So I don't know if maybe he's improved a bit. I mean, honestly, I was never a fan of Chagaev. I remember he was another one of those guys that was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna give Vladimir Klitschko a run for his money, and then Vladimir went in there and fucking like he shut him out just like he does everybody else. And so I mean, he was never impressive to me. I always thought Ibragimov was the better fighter back when they were both champions at the same time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, heavyweight fights in general are interesting now just because of the way that the division got shaken up recently. So, I mean, that'll just kind of be added to the top of it. And also the fact that, you know, it's for the WBA regular title. I know the WBA is going to be doing that unification shit. Yeah. So, you know, whoever wins will probably be in line to fight against Fury and all that. So,
yeah,
that plays into
Robertson Castello. He's the one who beat Ronnie Rios. You know what I'm talking about?
He upset him. He was supposed to lose that fight.
Yeah, I know. He's fighting for the interim WBC featherweight championship. So I guess he's gonna be fighting Santa Cruz if he wins this fight. He's going against. No,
you know what? Gary Russell has the WBC. That's the reason why this is for the interim.
Was that?
Gary Russell has the WBC. That's why this one is for the interim.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Have you mentioned this fight again? Oscar Escondon, yeah?
Yeah. I mentioned it.
Oh, yeah. Man, that Robertson guy is an upset guy. He be upsetting loads of people, bro.
Yeah.
He be upsetting coming people's hometowns and beating them. They call him Robin Hood, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like Rocky Juarez, too. He beat up on Rocky Juarez.
Yeah, by Unanimous decision as well. I like that dude. If anything, I might, what's his name again? Thing in the chat, Brother E. I might put my money on that one, but I don't think I'll put money on Tony Thompson. I don't think I'll be doing that, bro. I don't think I'll be doing that. But, go ahead, Notes. Anything else?
Let me take a look. See what else on the schedule here. Well, you got fights over there in England. Bradley Skeete.
Yeah,
you know the dudes from the coalition that put me on that dude Bradley Skeete, man. that guy's terrible to watch.
Yeah. It is. It's not. Yeah.
Well, and hey, that dude Kalya Fai, I know that he's been hyped and everything. Him and his brother.
Yeah, his brothers.
Who's the better of the two?
His brother, man. Of course, his brother's on a band though. His brother's band, isn't it?
Oh, for real?
His brother. You talking about Kikadahan, his brother, isn't it? It's Kikadahan.
No, Kalya Fai and Gamalya Fai.
Oh, come. Oh, yeah. I think the other one did. The one he's fighting on Saturday, he's better.
Yeah, Cal's better than Kamal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I've seen Kyle fight. I've never seen Kamal fight, but I've heard of both of them. So.
Yeah. Like I seen Bradley Skeete, and I was talking about that fight earlier, who I thought would win. But you're right, Bradley Skeete's a horrible fighter to watch.
Yeah, man, that's ugly.
It's just not fun.
I'm surprised they got him on TV. I guess they think Eggington's gonna knock him out because otherwise, why put him on?
I think Eggington's gonna lose. I picked him to lose because I think he's gonna get spoiled.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
Talking about this weekend, just because obviously, like I do watch MMA. Conor McGregor's going against Nate Diaz. I like to see that, and Holly Holm's going against Michelle Tate. I like them fights there. I'm gonna go with quickly. I'll go with Conor over Nate, and I'll go with Holly over Michelle Tate. But I don't know if you guys are gonna be watching that.
Well, bro, obviously Conor's gonna win. Nate Diaz came in at the last minute because of old boy broke his foot. Dos Anjos.
Rafael Dos Santos, yeah. Go ahead, Umar. Oh, Umar dropped off. Umar dropped off. Yeah, Rafael Dos Santos. Umar will probably come back on bracket. What's your take now on that? Or you don't?
Honestly, like I don't watch MMA like that. Like I'll catch some of the stuff like after the fact and everything. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'd say Holm beats Tate because I'm familiar at least with the females because I've been watching. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I've actually probably seen more female MMA fights than male MMA fights because like back when Gina Carano was the hype, like I watched a bunch of hers and then of course Rousey and all that. Miesha Tate, I know she's supposed to be like a really good grappler and everything, but she's not a big girl for that weight class. I think they brought her up back when they originally first had women fighting in MMA. I think she was at a lower weight class, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, you're
right.
The
reason why, in my opinion, why Tate is hanging around so long is because she's a pretty girl.
She is pretty. She is very attractive, actually.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl. When she does herself up, she's a good-looking girl, so they try to, keep her around. But she doesn't belong in that weight class. She belongs in a weight class. She belongs at 135, not 145.
Yeah.
That's what Naruto was saying.
Yeah. But so I mean, Holm should take her out. I mean, Holm, she took pretty much all her skills right over, man. She transitioned them over really beautifully against Rousey and against the previous opponents. So
listen, honestly, I like Michelle Tate, but I want Holly Holmes to dominate because I want to see her versus Ronda Rousey. I want to see her finish Ronda Rousey's career.
Honestly, I don't think Rousey will ever fight her again, Umar.
Well, if she does, you already know what the outcome is.
You know the outcome.
Honestly, I mean, if she's like having like suicidal thoughts off of that L, I mean, I don't want to see what it's gonna be like after Holmes does her again. Cause
let me ask you guys a question. I know EJ does. Now, did you watch ESPN First Take?
Sometimes.
All right. Well, did you see when they were talking about Ronda Rousey after she said she wanted to kill herself or whatever?
No, I didn't.
All right, well, I'll just give you a little quick rundown. It was the saddest bullshit I've ever seen. They were giving her so many passes. Like, they were basically trying to make it seem like Holly Holmes did something wrong by whooping her ass. It was pissing me off.
Of course. That's what they do, man. They had, like, ESPN First Take. That's why I don't watch it that often, because I don't want to get pissed off and break my fucking TV.
Yeah.
Because those guys are such bums. I remember back when Pacquiao and Marquez were gonna run it back. I don't remember if it was the third or the fourth time. They were asking Marquez like, who would win between Pacquiao and Mayweather? Basically, like they were saying like, oh, after Pacquiao kicks your ass, who do you think that's good enough to beat Mayweather?
That was before the fourth fight, right before Marquez slept this nigga. They were disrespecting Marquez, who's one of my favorite fighters. They weren't even asking Marquez no questions. They were acting like he just didn't mean nothing. He had no chance against Pacquiao. It was so disrespectful. He was a fucking puncher bag. That's how they treated him. And I was watching that. I was like, yo, you know what? I know my homie Juan Manuel's eating this up right now. This shit's putting the chip on him. I knew it. And I watched that shit. I knew exactly what you're talking about. They disrespected that man. Yeah. But that shit goes to show you, my G, they don't know nothing about boxing, yet they talk about it. They act like
that's what kills me about it.
Stephen A. Smith is terrible. Stephen A. Smith is terrible, man. Stephen A. Smith is terrible. Stephen A. Smith called Super Cam a coward, bro, because the man didn't want to stay in the press conference. He called Kevin Durant. He goes, "You don't want to mess with me." I was like, "That's good, bro." I was like, "No."
He challenged fucking Kevin Durant to a fight and shit like this.
Honestly, I'm surprised one of these athletes haven't fucked up, either of those guys, because they're just so damn annoying. Both of them.
Bro, Chris Bosh was this close to knocking out Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless used to call Chris Bosh Spice. He was this close to knocking him out. I saw it.
I wish he would have. For real, like I mean, a lot of those reporters and stuff talk way too much shit for dudes who ain't never probably fucking played a sport in their life.
Yeah. Hey, they do that on Kornizer and Wilbur. They be talking the most shit, bro. They talking the most shit on them shows, bro. They do is sit behind their TV, sports rise and this, man. That's all they do. But you know what? Since social media come across with Twitter, bro, them guys are gonna wait. Them guys are go the way of the dinosaurs for real, bro.
Yeah.
Man. Because Stephen A. Smith, man, bro, it's hard to listen to that dude. The way he went on cam, it was sick, man. It made my stomach turn, bro. But,
and even after Marquez knocked Pacquiao out, then all Skip Bayless could talk about was, oh, that was a lucky punch and he let Mayweather off the hook or some stupid shit like that. I'm like, kidding me? So that's why when Umar says that, like, oh, that they're making all these excuses for Rousey, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. It's the Pacquiao shit all over again. It's like, oh, like she probably ate something bad that morning, and and this, just making every excuse under the sun for it.
Yeah. Well, I can see that guy. And then anything else you guys want to add?
I mean, I think we pretty much went through it all.
Umar. Where's Umar? Umar's probably going for a bogey.
Oh shit, Mike Perez versus Martin. Oh, never mind. That's a different Mike Perez. That's fighting this Friday. Oh, that's Michael Perez, the Golden Boy guy. That's fighting on Friday too.
Yeah, in the chat. So Beats is saying to me, I said Nick Blackwell's not that good. Beats disagrees with me because when you talk about EJ, Blackwell's a British champ. And so Nick Blackwell versus Christian Bank Jr. is going to be coming. You know anything about them two?
Well, I know Eubank. He's a fun fighter to watch. Blackwell, I've only read about him, haven't really watched him. So I mean, I think it's a good fight. I think Eubank at least is testing himself. You know what I mean? Like he's one of these guys that he's not just talking a gang of shit and then ducking the toughest opponents. He's fighting like fellow prospects, fellow contenders, and giving it his all. And I mean, even though he didn't necessarily have like a long amateur career, he's going out there and showing and proving in the pros. And I mean, I tip my hat to Eubank for that.
Before last week, I had the same opinion, but I gotta switch my opinion. First of all, I think that fucking Chris Eubank's a clown now because when he released that tape of him knocking out that fucking amateur guy, like he made himself.
That was fucked up.
Yeah, he made himself.
Why was that fucked up? Why was that fucked up?
Because, bro, boxers know, and this is between boxers. I'm not a boxer, but I've been in the gym watching boxers fight, and I've seen boxers get knocked out. Nondescript boxers, mind you. No, nobody famous. I'm not saying I've seen famous people get knocked out. But they don't videotape it, and they don't release it, and they don't speak about it. That's an unwritten rule, and he broke that code, and that was some sucker shit.
Well, not only that, but, you know, it's like just like some amateur kid, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to try and just...
he's an amateur.
You're going to try and embarrass him for, like, the rest of his life and shit? Like...
Hey, man, it is a low blow, man, but I guess that they felt like they was right to do that. When I saw it, I thought nothing covered. I thought, boy, it happens in sparring. I've seen Deontay Wilder get rocked in sparring by David Haye. Why did David Haye put that out?
That was some sucker shit, too.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that was definitely some sucker shit from Haye, especially because that was the only clip they showed. You know, he probably could have been getting his ass whooped the whole time.
David Haye released David Haye released a fucking 15-second clip. He didn't release the whole sparring, and what Nauta just said is probably very apt. He's probably getting his ass whipped the whole fucking time. He landed a shot, and then they edited it, and that's the shot they released. Like that shit is gay. Yeah,
that sounds like something that somebody that's salty would do. Like, oh, you think you're so big and bad? Well, guess what? I rocked you this one time, so I'm gonna show everybody that I did that.
That's like if I went to England and me and EJ was sparring, and EJ was whooping my ass the whole time, but in the last fucking 30 seconds of the fight, I catch him with a right hand, he goes down, and all I do is edit that shit. And I put that out there. That makes me look like I was whooping his ass the whole time, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Eubank has embraced the dark side. He wants to be a villain, bro. He don't know bounds about that guy's a villain, bro. He ain't embraced the dark.
I mean, his dad helps though too, because at least with him, he's playing off of what all the shit that his dad talks. Because unlike Angel and Danny, for instance, Danny doesn't capitalize enough on that. Like,
as a fighter, I think you need that mean streak as well. I think that's what they're exhibiting.
Oh, you do.
I think you need
that. I'm telling you, the most disappointing in boxing in 2015, well, that was 2016 actually, but most disappointing thing was the Angel Garcia and Robert Guerrero build-up. They waited till the last press conference to go at each other. They should have been going at each other from day one.
Yeah.
And they waited way too long. I mean, the last one, they went at each other, and it was hilarious, but they should have been doing that from the first. As soon as the fight got signed, they should have been talking shit.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's true.
Agreed. No doubt about it, man. Absolutely, boy. But you know how that was it's a PBC one. It wasn't a pay-per-view one. It wasn't on Showtime.
That's true.
That's why it isn't, you know.
Yeah, to hold back a little bit on all the.
Yeah, but Robert Guerrero's father, Ruben started that shit when he said Adrian can't speak no Spanish, and Adrian came back and started speaking Spanish and talking greasy. That shit had me dying.
Yeah, that shit was funny as well.
Yeah, they waited too long, man. They should have started that earlier.
Hey man, that's what it is, man. Boy, I'm draining out over in the UK. Actually, let me give it real quick because I haven't seen it. What's your guys' take on Adrian Broner and Ashley Fairfax press conference and Mayweather, you know, going in on Adrian Broner? Because I haven't seen the press conference fully. What's your guys' take on that?
Honestly, I never really believed all that friendship stuff between Mayweather and Broner. To me, back when that whole relationship, I guess you might call it, that whole friendship first started. To me, Mayweather was basically like, it's almost like the pretty chick with her ugly friend or with her fat friend or whatever. like they look better by comparison. And I think Mayweather did that for that reason. He was using Adrian Broner for that reason, even before Broner had lost, because I think Floyd even knew that shit was coming. He knew it was coming. And then when it came a cropper against Madonna, that just proved him correct. And from then on, I think Mayweather. I remember he released a couple of different tweets or whatever, kind of clowning Broner too, saying like, oh, he shouldn't have been doing all that partying and all that other stuff. He was talking a bunch of shit. Mm-hmm. So I mean, of course, Broner's gonna get pissed about that because, Broner, to me, like, I don't know, he doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the tool shed. The sharpest knife in the drawer. Like he doesn't seem to have like the greatest social graces. Like he's not like socially intelligent, I guess you might say. He's not the most natural kind of talker and everything. Everything seems real put upon. He seems like a quiet, shy type of guy that just kind of acts up for the attention. And so just the fact that he thought the friendship was legit, and it turned out he realized that it wasn't. He was being bullshitted the whole time. I think he's real bitter about that, and so that's led him to being a little bit more harsh with all the TMT guys in general too. And also the fact that like Mayweather had promoted that fight with him and John Molina, and then like after that was like a one and done, and then they didn't have nothing to do with each other after that. So I think all that kind of plays into it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Nauta. The only thing I really want to speak on that is that I watched the video, and I'm not gonna mention the guy's name, but the guy needs to stop fucking making up fucking tags for his videos just to get views, saying certain things happen. Because I watched the guy's video, right, and I was expecting Broner to say what he said in the video. The video said Broner says fuck Mayweather, and Broner never said that, and that shit pisses me off when people do that on their videos. And that's all I want to say. But Broner said what he had to say. What do you expect him to say? Fucking Floyd is defending Treasure Theophane because that's his fighter, and that's what it is, and that's what he's gonna do. And Broner is saying, all right, well, right now we can't be friends. We gotta be enemies because I'm fighting your fighter. So what was really said that was controversial? I didn't really understand it, but what Nauta said, I agree that their friendship is kind of fucking surface. It's a surface friendship. It ain't real. It's just something that they do for the benefit of both of them, for each other. Then I don't think those dudes is really sitting in the crib, playing Madden together. Eating chicken wings and watching sports. I just don't see that. It's not that type of friendship.
If anything, I think Broner probably benefits more from it than Floyd does.
Do you think Ashley Fairfax should be getting a title shot on the rules?
No.
Why not? He says nah. I mean, nah is as far as earning it, but why not? I mean, a lot of guys get title shots in these day and days. So why not Ashley? Ashley's got over 40 fights. He fought Danny Garcia. He fought who'd he fight? Nate Campbell. He fought a lot of fucking guys. Give the guy a title shot. Whether he wins or loses, just give him one. He's, I don't care. It don't bother me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the worst challenger, but.
And a lot of people, and if you watch that Danny Garcia fight, a lot of people think Ashley won that fight. So,
Alright.
give him a shot. Whether he wins or loses, give him one. And if he loses, then he got a nice payday. He can go back to England, buy himself a cottage, and do his thing. And he looked clean to the motherfucker with them glasses and that suit on. It's all good. Good for Treasure.
Yeah, honestly, like really, this is probably just Floyd getting his homie paid. Really, Theophane he probably hasn't really made that much through his career, so this will probably be a nice chunk of change for him.
Exactly, he'll get probably about $2 million to fight Adrian, and Floyd is just looking out for his homie, man. The guy that helped him get ready for a lot of fights, just like he did for fucking old boy that said he wanted to kill himself. I can't remember his name right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Wait a minute, is this a PBC fight or is it on Showtime?
Showtime.
Okay.
Matter of fact, no, that's PBC. It's PBC.
Okay, I was just wondering because I was curious. I was thinking about hypothetically what the purses would be.
Well, that's that, man. Well, anything else? Well, we've got some good fights coming up. Everyone's kind of made their predictions on who we want. Got people in the chat commenting and stuff like that. So, hey, EJ's Tuesday night prediction is looks like it's a wrap. What we got in there? Floyd is really looking out for Bruno. With setting up the scrap with Ashley Fairman because Bruno has nowhere to go at 147 and he gets stopped by the top at 140. I don't know, maybe. That's brother E in the chat. Commenting. I don't know, man. Broner's got bare places to go. Crawford fight. I want to see Crawford versus Broner. To be honest with you,
so would I
would love to see it, but the fight will never happen.
It's got a possibility to happen. Broner will fight him. I think that's a good possibility of happening.
Nah, it's Bob Arum, Al Heyman. The fight ain't gonna happen.
Crawford, man. Rob Aaron, look, man. I'm sure that fight will happen. Look, you said Mayweather and Pacquiao will never happen. There's nothing that can't
That's
happen.
different. That's different. There was a lot of money at stake.
Yeah.
There's
That
enough
was
money.
an offer
Listen,
that
there's enough money on stage. Exactly. There's enough money in it. The fight will happen. So nothing. I'll never say nothing against nothing no more. People thought Mike Tyson and Cruz and happen because they were in different rivalry companies happen. So there's nothing. You know.
It's got to be a lot of money. It's got to be a lot of money built.
I think look, Crawford's doing what he's doing. Crawford one more fight. Adrian Broner looks 2 more defenses. They look good. They'll match up. Adrian Broner won it. The public demanded. These 2 brothers, they should have met at lightweight.
Adrian's getting beat up. If that fight does happen, Adrian's getting beat up.
I tell you, Adrian. I would have preferred Adrian at lightweight to fight that fight.
Honestly though, like the greatest thing about that fight to me would be the crowd, man. Especially like depending on where they hold it, because I'm sure they probably want like neutral ground. Maybe they put it in Texas or something. Man, like just think of how the crowd would be. You know, it would be packed.
Texas.
You don't know. Broner, boxing. Adrian Broner has power at 140 and 135, bro. He had power. He had power at 135 and 140. He hits harder, bro. He don't hit no 147. He's not no power. But at 140 and 135, Adrian Broner had power, bro. Trust me.
Yeah, 147 his power didn't translate, man, because.
Well, I mean, he still has a little bit. It's like that snapping power. It doesn't have the lasting effect though. It's not that power that you take with you, where you hit a guy and like they feel it like the next round. Still, it's just the power that like it affects you in that moment.
Yeah. So, but the Postal fight, I think 140 has there's some real good fights out there. Listen, Postal needs to be more active than he is, man. He had a big win against Matisse. He needs to be back out. That's the thing about some of these fighters.
That's Bob Arum's fault. That's Bob Arum's fault.
No, I understand. No, not really. Like Gary Russell Jr., like one fight against Johnny Gonzalez, you know, you lose against Feng, you disappear. You know what I'm trying to say? This is what bothers me about boxing. What used to piss me off about that guy. What's that guy? He was a guy from the Dominican Republic, the one who got beat up. They used to call him the Little Tyson. Bruv, the man. Yeah, Juan Guzman was a fucking badass, bro. Juan Guzman, he was a little fucking bad man, yeah. He just didn't fight active, and that's what happens. Some of these fighters, they just turn inactive and just disappear. Gary Russell Jr. and look, Andre Ward, you know, that's why he's opened himself to all this criticism, because he's not active. And some of the guys he fight, I still believe Andre Ward is number 1 pound for pound. But bruv, like, you just need to be more active, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to see when we had back in the days when these fights, like when you see Mike Tyson used to fight like once a month, 2 a month, twice a month. Some of these guys, yeah, it really pisses you off, and there's no reason why. You know, you couldn't be at Crawford. That's why people are liking Crawford, because there's some familiarity with him. He fights quite regularly, and against good opposition, he's been looking good. So Crawford is crawling up the pound for pound rankings real quick for me, man. That was a good stop against Lundy. So, you know,
that's like I mentioned earlier. That's why I like that dude Minayo thing, because I mean he regularly fights like 4 times a year. You never see champions fight that often.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, him or like I remember Edgar Sosa years ago, back when he was in his prime. He defended his title I think 5 times in a year.
Yeah.
And like to me that was enough for him to get fighter of the year for me that year. I think it was like 2009 if I remember right. But you know, it's really a shame that guys don't fight more often. And see, and the thing is, I don't even care necessarily if some of those fights aren't the best of opponents. Because, I mean, it's like you look back on some of the old school fighters, the throwbacks or whatever, and they have plenty of guys that weren't on their level, you know, that they were fighting. But it was just, you know, to keep themselves busy, you know, earn a little extra side money, you know, keep their names out there. And, I mean, it really helped them overall because, one, it helped them stay sharp. It helped them keep their name out there. And it, you know, they might not have been getting paid the top dollar for those fights, but they were still getting paid enough, and they were keeping their names out of the public to such a degree that they could still demand the top dollar for. I mean,
that's why people like Chocolito in Sasam, because the man's busy, he's constantly fighting, constantly out there, he's constantly fighting, Kovalev, Triple G, they're constantly fighting, they're constantly.
Yeah, Kovalev's been real active. That's one thing you can say for him.
He's been active, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. And being active and this keeps people out there, you know. So that's you know that's
gonna get knocked out because Amir Khan fights once a year for like the past 3 years. He's getting knocked out.
Amir's gonna beat fucking Canelo, bro. I told you.
Okay.
I gotta admit, even though I've never really been high on the fight, when they actually get in the ring and are standing across from each other, I'm probably gonna be pretty hyped to see it, just because I don't know, like it's it's such a weird fight. You know what I mean? It's like if you hit the random select on a video game or some shit. Like, oh shit, Amir Khan versus Canelo. Oh, all right, you know.
It's like fight night when you do the one mode where you can fight any weight class against any weight class. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Forgot the name of that shit, but that's what's gonna happen, and Amir Khan's gonna get slept.
Yeah, whatever. Not happening. But you know what? We're gonna find out in a couple of days. Well, fight fans, we'll call it a day, man. I enjoyed this conversation. I was expecting more people over. Scorsese came over. We had Gus from the Boxing Voice. He had his little take. We have Ben Umar, the Boxing Terrorist. We have Nalta TV. Noah's got his channel. Check that out. And we've made our predictions, man. Whether they come true, we'll know in a couple of days. But what I will do is that after the Tony Thompson fight against Luis Ortiz, I will do straight after. I will do a hangout straight after. Hopefully, I'll do. If it's not too late in the morning, I'll do one. And also on the same card, Julian Williams versus that guy again. That should be good as well. So I'll do a hangout straight after and see how it is, man. But try and keep these things going, man. But I appreciate you guys coming over. Anything else you guys want to say to the people listening? Nalta and Umar?
No, I mean just watch the fights, man. Try to catch as many as you can, because I know there's a lot of them. And, you know, there's gonna be a lot.
I'm good, man. Just shout out to Sadam Ali, man. Williamsburg, Brooklyn, the building.
Cool, man. All right. So from EJ Boxing Live, Nalta, Scorsese, Gus, Ben Umar, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.